Hello, anticipation in Armagh and Galway is sky high. Two teams led by absolute icons, two counties waiting more than 2 decades for their next All-Ireland football titles, with support so vocal they may well take the roof off.
For Galway, and he scored it! Oh, and he rolls it into the net! Conor Turbans is the man!
Big enthusiastic crowd here.
There's great noise.
Colhard with his first point.
Magic afternoon in Croke. Spread the word around the world. Armagh the All-Ireland final. And Galway are through to the All-Ireland final.
No thunder just yet. We'll probably save that for the pitch. For these people, though, was it worth the wait? Hopefully worth a scramble as well. The sun has come out for the Orchard and the Tribe. Now, so far, the orange does look to be the dominant colour. Still a while to go to throw in, though. Armagh against Galway is coming up at 3:30. And where better to begin our build-up on All-Ireland Final Day than the place that everybody has a hit on All-Ireland Final Day. Also on Jones's Road, Peter, Tomas and Lee. I'm very aware that in particular we have a Tyrone man and a Mayo man with us, but it does feel quite special today, doesn't it?
Oh, look, absolutely. What a buzz we have around Croke Park today. A couple of hours before the match, all weekend. The days preceding this in Armagh and Galway has been amazing, fantastic buzz. And look, the players that are playing today are the envy of so many players around this country. Glorious day. It's a dream to play in an All-Ireland final, the sun's shining, and hopefully we have a game that matches the anticipation.
Well, we do have our fingers crossed for that. We see the madness beginning all around us already, Tomas. When you were playing in all those All-Ireland finals, because we know Kieran McGeeney says he's glad everybody's going nuts. What's it like for the players, though?
The players, Joanne, are in their own bubble. They're away from everything. They don't see this. When you retire as a player, you come in and you're part of the razzmatazz. But as a player, you're in your own bubble. They wouldn't have been mixing all week. I'd say Armagh probably that little bit more difficult because how crazy, in a good way, the Armagh fans are. But they'll be so focused. But I think if you're in a position where you can actually enjoy the build-up, there was great crack above in Armagh, same in Galway. It is a novel pairing. We don't have the Dubs or Kerry for a change, and I think it's brilliant for football to have Armagh and Galway here today.
Now, you're a very laid-back character, so maybe you're the wrong Mayo man to ask this, but Mayo fans have a similarity with the Armagh fans. What was it like? Were you able to enjoy that madness?
I think you have to, Joanne, because, you don't get to All-Ireland finals that often, and these two teams haven't been here that often, so I think it's important for them to embrace the occasion, enjoy the madness. I do agree with Tom. The players won't have a clue. They'll enjoy their own build-up and their time together, but they'll understand what it means after the game to these supporters. But from Mayo perspective, it's similar to Armagh. It's bonkers.
But even when you're coming in on the bus, did you ever have any mishaps on your way in?
Not in championship. We had the odd tip or two in a league final, but
what's a tip or two?
The bus driver clipped a Clio on the way in from the pitch to Croke Park, and you know what?
Level of detail.
It's that stuff that probably takes the edge off a little because you're so engrossed in the game, and then before you know it, you're in Croke Park and you're building up to the game.
After saying that, Joanne, okay, the players are in a bubble and all the rest, but you can't but be caught up in the sense of anticipation and excitement in both counties, and it doesn't escape the players because everybody around them wants to talk about it and all the rest. So some players, and the reason some players do, the big occasion does get to them, is that they can't switch off. They're consumed with it, every thought, every day. And that's not a good thing. You have to be able to switch off and do other
Peter,
things. Some players find that maybe difficult, and that's...
But the 2 weeks, the 2 week turnaround is nice.
It is.
If it's a 4 week, it's a different story where the guys after the semi-finals are already prepping for the final, and before you know it, the final's already here. So that's the beauty of this condensed championship, that there's no time to think about it.
There have been a few people who've suggested the fact that Galway were here a couple of years ago is a big advantage. Would you agree?
I don't know, Joanne. These teams know each other very well. There's been nothing between them. I always feel myself personally that any team coming from the north are a dangerous animal in an All-Ireland final. They are really, they're carrying more than the expectation of a county. They have the support of a province. But on the other hand, you can't underestimate the hurt that Galway have had the last few years, the preparation, the two managers, the way they've moulded a squad, the fact that Galway are so good against Ulster teams is going to make for a phenomenal day.
All of Tyrone are behind Armagh then, are they, Peter?
That's what he said to me earlier, and yeah.
You could nearly take the money out of that, maybe. But yeah, look, the majority have thrown support, because it's been a while since they've got here, and we like to see our neighbours doing well. And
beautiful day.
And we did win it in 2003 on the back of Armagh winning it. So maybe if they won it today, it would be the kick up the arse that our boys badly need.
Just before we leave this little bit, Mayo were very gracious on their Twitter account this week.
I can tell you one thing: someone got fired during the week, so that they were nearly too gracious. I think, there's still a bit of hate here, but I think the important thing is there's a respect because of what this team have done and what they've come through. In saying that, they'll always be our rivals, and there are still a couple of Mayo flags hanging around over the Galway border.
The atmosphere is, as you would expect, unbelievable out here. We are going to be heading inside very, very shortly as well. Let's concentrate on Armagh for a little while. They, of course, are famed for their leader on the sideline, but they do have quite a few on the pitch as well, not least of all their captain Aidan Forker and Rory Gruen.
I don't think you can separate the manager from the man. Kieran's who he is. He back you to the hilt. I would say no better teammate than Kieran would have been, but also will tell you what you need to know in no uncertain terms.
You know, I know through difficult times in my life in the last 10 years, he's been a constant, and he's always there, and he's supported you in different ways. And one thing that I love about him is that he never lets you rest on your laurels, no matter what age you are or how well you're playing or whatever. He always drives for more.
We're hoping that we can repay him with a big win in the final.
You know, it's the most cliche thing in sport about how you learn more from your defeats. And like when you've had those hard defeats, especially 4 within the 2 seasons, 2 quarterfinals, 2 Ulster finals, of going to extra time, being in a position to win and not seeing that out, you know, you have to learn from that, and you like to think that it stood to you. I think we learned, like Aidan said, we'd learned from those mistakes and saw the game out really well, especially in that second half of extra time with all the boys, the fresh legs coming in to have the big impact.
Because you and I were on the sideline and didn't have much involvement on it, chatting our way through of what we would do, but you know, great trust in the boys to go and execute, because as a group we all learn. It's not a case of 1 or 2 of us trying to get, you know, and that's the strength of the group. Like,
we won turbo fist at that point at the end. I was standing right beside Aidan. I think he had his hand on my shoulder and barely fit the luck, and when the last ball floated into the square, we were fearing the worst, but thankfully we saw it out, so it was pure elation then at the end.
Roy and he's been going All Ireland finals for
a few years. As you know, you get a few. You get the tickets that you get the chance to buy and go there as a player. I'm just so green with envy watching the other teams do it, so it's good to have our chance to do it. We've played each other 3 or 4 times in the last 2 seasons. In Championship alone, I think it's 3 games. Win for us, win for them, and a draw. And I think 1 point wins in both of those, so if ever there was an indicator of how well matched we are as teams.
I grew up watching Padraig Joyce as well. I love Joycey. I think he was a brilliant footballer. Actually had his jersey. I remember wearing his jersey underneath my club jersey one time, because I loved playing full forward like he did. I was left foot, but
don't know if you know, Aidan's actually a forward. He should really be a forward. Yeah.
What's he doing back there?
Doesn't matter these days. both counties are hungry for success when it comes to winning Sam Maguire. But we just have to hope that that drive from the fans and our own hunger as a team is enough to get us over the line.
And here they come now for the county's 5th All-Ireland final in history, led by the one man from Armagh who knows just what it's like to lift Sam Maguire as winning captain. That was his goalkeeper on the day, giving him a hug. This, though, very much a new experience for this squad, who had never even appeared in an All-Ireland semi-final until 2 weeks ago. Now, most of these Galway players, though, they have experienced this day before, albeit not in the way that they wanted. There will be at least 10 of the same starters from that 2022 defeat to Kerry, with several more likely to play a role if Port Joyce is to become a winning manager. And here we are, pitch side in the sunshine. Peter, there'll be a lot of talk about some of the flashier players. How relaxed were Aidan Forker and Rory Grugan, and also how crucial are they to Armagh?
Well, they're very relaxed off the pitch, but through leaders in this Armagh setup, for years, Joanne, when things weren't going well, they were the ever-presence, and they were the boys that were driving the other ones on when things weren't going well. And you talk about the team ethic that pertains in this Armagh team at the minute. Those players were taken off. Aidan Forker's the captain. He's been taken off in games. That's okay, because he knows that it's a team game, it's a pound game, and the people that are coming on are going to go that extra yard. So for them to get to this stage today is massive. But my final point is not good enough just getting there. And the wee picture, a lovely moment of Aidan Forker and Kieran McGeaney after the win over Kerry. What were they saying? It was, with one more to go, and Forker's steely determination was, he was thinking ahead at that moment. So there's brilliant leadership off the field, but they also have very strong leaders on the pitch as well.
Which is obviously so crucial, and there'll be loads of talk about systems, but how much will some individual flair come into deciding this?
I think loads. I think we're so engrossed with trying to analyse their structures and what we're assuming they're going to do. I think sometimes we forget how good these players are individually and what they can bring to the game. And I just have a couple of analyses here. So like in certain situations, they're going to have to go for it. And a couple of these clips, I picked out Rob Trinity for the first one. I think he's having a brilliant year. Lovely little step, and he pings over a lovely score. And he's really stepped up this year in the absence of Comer and Welsh. Again, Galway varied their attack, diagonal ball in, and Killy McDade, who we associate with a big final a couple of years ago. This is in his locker, and this could be a day for him to do this kind of stuff again. And then Galway again, their hands are so slick, and then pops it to Liam Silk. Again, their half-back line has been so prominent this year, pops over the bar. So these are the kind of plays that I'm going to associate with the final day. It's going to come down to these type of things. For me, Joanne, this is the point of the season for me. How he gets ball to foot in that time frame is just absolutely outrageous. And Galway are going to know what Soupy Campbell is going to bring from the bench. He's hit 110 so far. And listen, when you're looking for your leadership and your instrumental players, Rian O'Neill is up there at the top. Like, to take on that shot, one thing, but to actually score it in a game of that magnitude is another. So he's going to be critical for today for Armagh going forward.
Yeah, Joe, and I just talked on Rian O'Neill there. I think I would have been, the last couple of years, I think he was lacking consistency maybe in games, but that Kerry game, he made 3 huge plays. He caught a ball under the crossbar. He actually kicked the ball to Turbot that released him for the last score, and that huge score he kicked. But we were discussing it earlier. He does stuff off the ball. He blocked a Kerry footballer in the first half here, just stopping a score. He's absolutely, I think it's been his best year. I think they will need leaders today. He plays without fear, and he'll be absolutely massive for Armagh today.
So much to look forward to. Shortly, the Jubilee team will be making their way out onto the pitch behind us. 1999 was the year of Meath, who will be footballing royalty in 2024.
AIB, proud sponsors of the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship.
Racing from Galway, Monday from 4:40 on RTE1 and RTE Player.
McDelivery, you in? I'm in. Yeah, I well fancy a fillet of fish. Expand your palate.
There's nothing quite like a McDelivery. You in?
Oh, House of the Dragon. Deadly.
Oh, there's Damon now.
Who?
Damon. Targaryen.
Who?
Well, he's her husband and her uncle. Humans are animals.
Oh, look, the golf's on.
Who? McElroy. They must have added sports. Now is class like that. You can mix and match memberships, so you only pay for what you're into. This is for a... Which one's better than an eagle?
An owl, obviously.
I didn't know you could talk.
Well, now you know.
Now you know a smarter way to stream all the top TV, movies and sports with no contract.
So what's flying like?
It's not as glamorous as it used to be.
We're back with more shoppers going full Lidl.
Gently. What about some fresh baguette?
Whoa, relax, they're on the list.
Aidan, what do you want in your baguette?
Some mild pepperoni, please.
Very good.
I would love some roasted ham.
Excellent choice, sir. And may I suggest a dollop of relish, cheddar, lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and... they're playing with the baguettes again.
Wait, no, it's even bigger.
Go on, go full Lidl. Shop without compromise and pay less.
It's very good value, look at that.
Oh, check you out being all healthy.
So skinny to this. Show me what you got.
Brian.
Muller Light. Get the good going.
Ireland's best broadband is speeding towards even more homes. Check your address at virginmedia.ie. To get super-fast 2-gig full fibre broadband that can keep up with your playtime. Virgin Media, it's playtime.
Hey, do you think they'll shrink us like these new M&M's minis?
You say the strangest things.
It does seem kind of small in here, Red.
Personal space, guys?
M&M's for all fun kind.
What's up, Barry?
Did you crochet them myself? I did, yeah. They're cute, aren't they?
Wow.
Too sweet.
Ah, Barry. This is Rockshore Apple Cider. Refreshingly not too sweet.
Oh, shh. It's starting.
The enemy usurped my throne.
We're going to King's Landing.
War is coming, and neither of us may win.
Have you ever met a dragon?
Well, there's Margaret next door in number 15.
Now you know a smarter way to stream House of the Dragon with no contract.
Introducing new Corsidil Active Gum Repair. If you spit blood when you brush, it could be the start of a domino effect to worse. New Corsidil Active Gum Repair actively helps repair gums from 1 week. New Corsidil Active Gum Repair.
Wow, this is what Jones's Road looks like at the moment, and everybody trying to get in with their tickets. 63 games stretching back to early April. It now comes down to today. Some of the best supporters in the business. Armagh and Galway like to travel in numbers, and don't forget there is a full roundup of today on tonight's Sunday game from 9:30 on RT1. We're just awaiting the Meath team of 1999 All-Ireland champions to make their way out onto the pitch. In the meantime, Peter Canavan, interestingly, Conleth Gilligan, who of course is part of our Armagh's backroom team, had a nice, good long chat with the umpires.
There's no flies on Conleth Gilligan, and he was just letting them know that wishing them all the best and that they have a good game. So typical Conleth.
Yeah, Tomas, wasn't it interesting here in Aidan Forker when they started talking about Port Joyce, how he wore the 14 jersey, Galway jersey, because of him when he was younger?
It's brilliant. Like I've met Aidan Forker before. It's like a mini McGeaney on the pitch. He's an absolute leader. He's there the longest. He's very, very serious about his football. He was key in getting Donaghy back in. He travelled to Tralee to make sure that Donaghy stayed. He's been an absolute leader for Armagh throughout the years. He kicked 2 great scores in their last game here in Croke Park. But they have so many leaders. What they have, Joanne, is all great teams have a great mix. They have a great mix of young lads, older lads, and I think it's fascinating to have Joyce and McGeaney on the sidelines. 2 guys who did it as players, 2 guys who are chasing silverware so hard. They've had a tough 5 years, and they're here today. One of them will go away with it. It's going to be so hard to pick who, but fascinating to watch it unravel.
So here is Graham Geraghty. He was captain back in 1999 on All-Ireland final day. Interestingly enough, the man who was marking him in that All-Ireland final was here a week ago with the Cork winning hurlers. That was Sean O'Halpin actually picked up Graham Geraghty in 1999. So Geraghty bringing Sam out onto the pitch with the 1999 team. Peter, a team you know well as well.
Yeah, I would have played against them a few times, a few years prior to that. We had a brave run-in with me. Fantastic group of footballers, some great characters in that squad. I actually, in the lift coming up there just prior to the game, I met that man there. I met Ollie's wife, Regina, and he says, "Regina, where's Ollie?" And he was standing beside her, but he had that big suit on him, and I thought he was working for Croke Park Security.
He looks exactly the same, though, to be fair to him.
Well, he's a great character. I just got to see one of the goals there that he scored in that All-Ireland final. He was a supreme footballer, and the Armagh once talked about Benny Tierney being the character in their squad. Ollie Murphy was one of the real characters in that 99 squad of Meath.
I know you were very young, Lee, as you're keen to remind us.
That's a good thing.
But there were some brilliant footballers. Look at that. We see Darren Fay there. What a fullback he was as well.
Yeah, but I was lucky, I suppose, looking at even like Trevor Giles, having the cut sleeves, Graham Geraghty, the type of these guys that, and Sean Boylan was someone that was iconic to us growing up as a manager to a team like that. So some great memories watching back that team, and you know what, they were a proper hard team. It's really interesting to hear Peter talk about them, the respect that you guys have for that.
They dished out one of the worst beatings ever Kerry got in 2001. Basically the same team, a phenomenal bunch of players. And Sean Boylan, obviously one of the great managers of the GA, led them out.
Lee mentioned Trevor Giles. In 99, he became the first footballer to win a second GAA Footballer of the Year. He'd won it in 96 as well. Lee mentioned there he is, the famous sleeves being cut.
And he looks as if he could still tug out and kick the ball over the bar. Very unassuming character, but one of those that gave Meath everything he had. He was always a 9 or 10 out of 10 player, and there's the main man himself who was in charge of them. Remarkable man, knowing the length and breadth of the country and further afield, the great Sean Boylan.
He really is. I think everybody would agree with that. You wouldn't find a single person who'd disagree with that. Sean Boylan, one of the all-time greats. Now, one of the stories of Galway season has been the performances of Dylan McHugh. The wing-back was there in 2022 as well, starting that losing final against Kerry. But this year, he has made himself almost indispensable, both in defence and in attack.
Dylan McHugh is coming on for Kieran Malloy. But the day, the night, the All-Ireland belongs to Corofed, the first club to win 3 All-Ireland titles in a row.
It's only when you kind of think back on it. At the time, probably didn't think much of it, but it's only now when you look at the strength of the club championship with the likes of Kilcoo and Kilmacud Crokes, that they've won it and they haven't gone to do a back-to-back. It's only when you look at the strength in teams and you realise what an achievement it was.
Kerry have hammered Galway in Tralee. 3 goals and 6 points for David Clifford, a goal and 2 for his brother Paddy, and Galway will find it very hard to recover from this hammering.
Debut came against Kerry 3 years ago and we shipped a fair tanking. Lost on my debut by 22 points, so you think that's the end of your county career before it even get going. You know, you can be slightly frustrated at times. I would have seen all the lads that I would have played with for going 21s going on, having good club careers, and a lot of them in Galway. So, you know, you'd be frustrated, but you just have to bide your time and hope that your chance comes.
We've had setback after setback over the years. We lost some penalties, We never let that affect us. We keep coming back. They said we couldn't win, take games. We want to take games out of there.
They've kept coming back year on year. Extremely unlucky over the last number of years. Like 2022, they could have just as easily got over the line in the quarter-final as we did. Last year was the same, and very unlucky not to win Ulster this year. They'll be as battle-hardened as we are after the championship they've had.
Brilliant score from a player having a serious campaign.
And Porrick Joyce and Galway will be back here in 2 weeks' time.
You know, was there on the pitch in 22 and was there as a spectator last year, which is two completely different places to be. But yeah, sure, it's an unbelievable day for everyone involved in the GAA. Very special to be there and just grateful to be out on the pitch.
Well, who better to ask about a superb wing-back than we have a couple of superb wing-backs with us. Lee, his story over the last few years in his development and how he's made himself so crucial to Galway this year is incredible.
I can't believe he wasn't starting 3 years ago. It's a mad, in 3 years he's contender for Football of the Year. He's been inaugural to what Galway have done this year. Forms a brilliant half-back line with his Carfin duo, Liam Silk. But he scored 6 in attack, but if you ever watch him, he's never defensively caught either. He's been a rock-solid type of guy, 9 out of 10 performance every game, and he just grew with confidence, and I expect another big day from him today, because what I love about Dylan McHugh is he does this kind of a cut run, and people don't know where to go to him or leave him, and he's such a smart guy, so he either finishes out his attack as scorers or he sets up a scorer, so he's going to be a huge impact today for Galway going forward.
You've picked two in particular, one from each team. McHugh for Galway.
Yeah, both half-backs, and to me it's all about the modern defender who has to perform multiple roles whenever they're playing. They're not just about being a marker, they have to bring something else to the game, especially when teams are playing blanket defence. So 2 scores here from Armagh and 1 from Galway. The first one is this man here, one of the unsung heroes, Barry McCambridge. It's a goal that he scores against Galway, Roscommon, but let's look at where it starts. That's him highlighted at the edge of his own D. He covers close to 100 metres here before he actually kicks the ball in the back of the net. There he is, turned up the field, getting to a position inside where he can act as a target man. He's a ball winner. As soon as he wins it, he's a provider, but he's also an orchestrator. He's pointing where he wants the ball, and finally he's also a finisher. Another defender would have fisted that over the bar. Second score comes from Armagh. I'm going to highlight him here. His job marking David Clifford, but Brian O'Beglek is coming across trying to take him out of the game, but look at that fast feet, how he adjusts himself, keeps his eye on the ball, doesn't foul David Clifford, dispossesses him, and what does he want to do? Bomb up the field again. Now, he doesn't score this, but what he does do, he takes Joe O'Connor out of the game. That's some highlighted run behind him. Joe O'Connor has left Rian O'Neill because he thinks he's doing the right thing by tracking a runner. Eventually the ball is coming out, and there's acres of space that Rian O'Neill gets an easy score, all down to the work of his teammates, and in particular Barry McCambridge. Lee spoke about the half-backs now. There is Dylan McHugh faced with a blanket defence, everybody from Donegal back, but again he identifies where the space is, spots a gap, tells a player where he wants the ball. Now it's about strength, it's about pace and decision making, fisting the ball over the bar with his weaker hand. So 2 players at the peak of their game. They're unsung, maybe you'll not hear them mentioned in the same breath as the marquee players, but they are going to have a vital role to perform today, and whichever one of them comes out on top and has a better game, it could well be the factor that determines the outcome of this game.
Well, Dylan McHugh has been mentioned as one of the marquee players for Galway this year anyway. Does that mean that when you're coming up against them, it is crucial that you stop and curb his influence?
Well, I think, Joanne, there's going to be key players on both sides, and I think most teams defend en masse. You know, they defend on block, they have their system, so they'll set as quickly as they can. Same attacking wise. Dylan McHugh has been, what I think one of his main attributes is he's a line breaker. He gets through, he pokes especially when there's a set defence against him. He's been doing it all year, and Armagh will have that set defence. I'd like to see Galway play with a bit more pace today. If he can get ahead of the ball, we'll show a piece later on where Armagh are not set. That's where you can actually make gains against Armagh. But the 2 lads have been outstanding. But there are other players that will need so much attention. The matchups all over the pitch, the subs, the impact of them. the goalies, it's huge, Joanne. Everywhere, they're so level, I think, in so many areas. That's why there's nobody can honestly say who can win this with confidence.
It is absolutely fascinating. So many aspects to it. Interestingly, 2 years after the Meath team we've been celebrating here today were crowned champions. They were back in an All-Ireland final. But that day in 2001, the Royals were undone by an exhibition of shooting by the man wearing number 14 for the team decked in maroon. Galway scored 17 points that day. Cork Joyce responsible for 10 of them.
Let's talk about this year, because it's been an amazing journey for you. And talk to me about the Connacht final and your memories of it, because it showed a lot of character, I thought.
Every year we play Mayo, whether who's up or who's down, there's never much in the game, you know. So they're a very difficult team to set up against and play against. They're such powerful runners, you know. It was a fabulous kick by Conor Gleeson then to land the Connacht title for us and probably answer a lot of critics he has. And just I remember probably over-celebrated again, probably too much, but again, I'm not too bothered about that. I think you have to enjoy the moment.
The game against Dublin was the game of the year. From your point of view, to beat the All-Ireland champions, was that the performance that you expected?
I was glad we got Dublin. They're the best team that has played this game for a long, long, long time. No, Dublin were all over us in the first half. The second half, the game seemed to flow, just fly as well. It went so fast, like, bar the last 5 minutes of injury time. But I think our lads that day, you could feel them growing into the game. You could feel them saying, right, we kind of belong here. We can handle the pace here. We can handle these. That was a huge turning point for us again, obviously, and it gave us massive momentum.
But let me go to the semi-final. We were playing against your own teammate, Jim McGuinness. That was a hard battle.
We knew they were going to come at us really hard earlier on, so we had to be on our toes. That's why we put out the strongest team we could. I think we were very brave that day as a group. It was a brilliant first half, I thought. I think the score taken by Donegal and ourselves was top class, top range. Obviously, Donegal would be grieved at the end. They missed a few bits and stuff, but again, it was one of those games I just felt that we were always in control. You just felt like we weren't going to lose it for some reason. It was a funny feeling I had that day. But yeah, happy to get over it.
Now, Armagh, you're good friends as well with Kim McGeady. So describe what this is going to be like for you on Sunday.
It's not the first time I've faced a friend on the line, you know. We do know each other quite well over the last couple of years. Like, we've had the draw and won on penalties 2 years ago. They won the game last year by a point. This year's been a draw. So look, there's no one going to tell me that there's not going to be much in the game Sunday, only kick of the ball, and it'll come down to a decision or a bit of luck. I have huge admiration for Kieran. Like, I played with him and I've played against him. Look, we wish him all the best, but obviously we're trying to defeat him on Sunday.
What do you think will be your reaction? Because when you do win a match, you kind of do a Michael Flatley on it. You leap into the air. Will there be a Galway jig or a Galway reel from Borg Joyce?
Oh, look, I hard to know, Marty, what we'll do. Obviously, it'll be emotional, obviously, if we do get over it. I'm not sure I'd have the feet like Michael Flatley now, but let's hope I am celebrating and jumping around the place, and it'll be great for Galway if we are.
SuperValue believe in community, and community includes everyone.
Are we there yet?
Oh, podcast from RT Junior, just in the nick of time. We could head off with a new series of Nero's Class.
The treehouse is moving.
Whoa! Mamma mia!
Solve new mysteries with season 2 of Serial.
We'd stumbled across something. But what?
Or just chill in the neighborhood.
It wasn't long before the rhino was fast asleep.
Who knows where we'll go? Share a journey with RT Junior. Available on RT Radio Player or wherever you get your podcasts.
At the Irish Independent, we don't just cover sport. We tell the stories written all over Ireland. After all, each struggle, triumph, high and low, leaves a mark that lasts. We live and breathe the stories, written all over Ireland. Irish Independent.
What gets your grill going? At Aldi, we've got barbecue sizzlers for just $2.99 each. Will it be the classic crowd pleaser, a bit of marinated magic, or something succulently different? And there's even more in store. Go on, go all Aldi.
Baby
babies' clothes need extra care, something to help tackle tough stains and stay gentle next to their delicate skin. That's why our Personal and Comfort #1 Sensitive Duo has a formulation especially developed for sensitive skin. Approved by our experts, loved by parents, and the most sensitive judges of all. For clean and soft results, use Personal Non-Bio Liquid and Comfort Pure, our #1 Sensitive Duo.
This is how we make time stand still. We believe that every feed is a gift. That's why we've dedicated over 50 years to breast milk research and created Aptamil Follow-On Milk with our unique blend of immunonutrients and 50% more GOS-FOS than any other brand. Aptamil, your life, our science.
Has your cat ever felt this epic? Give them Perfect Fit Total 5 formula to support their whole body health.
These are baked eggs. Dinner hosting, no coasting, recipe flick, dish picked, eggs cracking, flavor packing, table set, guest met, dished out, great shout, 5-star baked eggs. Eggs, crack on.
Colour like no other with Schwarzkopf Live.
Oh, yeah, that'll go nicely.
Think about the recipe.
Think about the flavour. They're gonna love this.
Jeff?
I put paprika in.
Don't be, oh, yeah.
Get ready for more with Sky Stream, Sky Broadband and Netflix.
I always have a memorable time.
So that's more of this.
How delightful to see you all.
More of this.
Welcome to the world of Spycraft.
Lots more of this.
This is extremely good news.
And definitely more of this. And it's all powered by super reliable Sky full fibre broadband. Get Sky Stream, Sky Broadband and Netflix. That's more value for only €50 a month. Search Sky Deals.
You can just feel it. This one is going to be absolutely electric. You can feel it in the air. You can feel a little bit of tension there as well. The nerves beginning to come in. Agus no dénig Darmid Gwill Sunday game Bio the Fall Air Serview Air on RT News Channel August Air on RT Player a Goopla No Mage August. You're best off making yourself comfy because after the Sunday game it's straight to Paris for the Olympics with a host of Irish in action including in the women's rugby sevens, boxing and Mona McSharry has made it through to semi-final in the pool. There is the great man himself and what a reception he's got not only from the crowd here at Croke Park but Sean Boylan from all of his players as well. The All-Ireland winning manager with me back in 1999 is with his captain from that day, Graham Geraghty and Damien.
Thank you very much, Joanne. A privilege to be with Sean and Graham on a day like this. Sean, just the first question, how proud of you, of the lads are you after all these years? You know, back then and even now again.
Probably prouder now, Damien. It's they're extraordinary lads. I was never a boss. They made me what I am, and I'm just thankful for the journey along with them. And we had an extraordinary, wonderful time. Good days, bad days, but we're all together.
Sean says that, Graham, but of course he'd never big up his own influence in the team. The amount of great players you had and this man together, could anything have stopped you in those years?
I think we had good players, but I think this was the missing key all along. And you know, over say 87, 88, 96, 99, he's been a guiding influence for all their careers and all the great Meath teams. And I don't think Meath football would be where it is without Sean. Was a fantastic man, and like we're all great friends to this day, and it's a lot of it is down to Sean as well.
You can see the bond is still tight. What were you most proudest of the lads? What did you love most about working with them, Sean?
What I loved more than anything else was losing was never in their head, and the pace they played with it, the skill that they had, and they never wanted praise. They just wanted to play. They wanted to play at Croke Park, and they wanted to win whatever they could.
Very last quick word to you. Just to be back here in Croke Park again, Graham, be on the sideline, what does it mean?
It's fantastic to get back on this pitch. You know, I dreamed of being playing here as a young guy, to play here for so long, and you know, to get back on it again, it just brings back some great memories.
Graham, Sean, thanks so much. Enjoy the day, enjoy the game. Back to you, Joanne.
They were a brilliant football team and led by a particularly brilliant man as well. And we're getting ready for this year's All-Ireland final. Will it be these men bringing Sam Maguire back home to Galway for the first time since 2001? And seeing how we were just listening to a couple of legends, we're going to stick to the legendary theme, because Kieran McGeeney has been involved in senior inter-county football without a break for 35 years. The last 10 of those has been as manager of Armagh, the first 17 as Armagh Warrior. For many of those 17 years as well, he came into very close contact with Peter Canavan.
Kieran, the younger viewers that are looking in today might only see and recognise Kieran McGeeney as Armagh manager, but the Kieran McGeeney that I know was a hell of an Armagh player. You had quite a colourful career with Armagh.
Yeah, it was long anyway. Started in '89, same as you. Actually, our first game was a challenge game, if you remember rightly.
I do recall a minor championship match.
That summer, yeah, I was marking your good self.
Yeah, and it was a pity. Yeah, Armagh won, but it was a pity that David Goff wasn't refereeing that day, because he would have been picking up on a lot of holding off the ball that a bigger, stronger player was able to get away with on a small slate player at that time.
I'm glad to see that your memory hasn't improved too much, like, you know.
It's out to Kieran McGeeney, the captain. It's all over. A fantastic day for Armagh. They have won the All-Ireland. Sam is going north once again.
The obvious highlight, fair to say, 2002.
Yeah, like, you know, in terms of sort of reaching the Holy Grail, like, yes, definitely. I remember sitting in the banquet looking over at the cup, and small memories like that there, like, not so much of the game, but like the memories surrounding it, like, would be still very strong.
Are the memories surrounding the 2003 final still as strong?
Oh, there would be, like, you know, like losing a player like that, like, you know, you really don't want to get into this conversation.
No, we're not going to talk about Sam Knowles. 5 years, after 5 years with Armagh, you hadn't won an Ulster Championship match. What was in you to say, here, I'm not walking away from this?
Yeah, we weren't, like, I remember chatting to you, like, at the time, like, we were in Division 3 and people were talking about All-Irelands, like, and I'm going, like, you know, like, from what planet, like.
But how have you managed to keep such a big group together and get them to perform the way you have?
I suppose over the years I've always just tried to be honest. People don't always appreciate my honesty, but I do. Like, I've always felt like that a player needs to know what you think. I think the players would know that the one thing that I won't do is I won't talk behind their back. I won't say anything about them that I won't say to them. Like,
your opposition, Galway, you know a bit about them at this stage.
Yeah, listen, like, we've played them 5 times, I think, in the last 3 years. They've won 1 by a point, we've won 1 by a point, 2 draws, another draw, and finished, like, they beat us in penalties. So, like, it's going to be, it should be a tight affair. Like, I know Joyce a long time, like, you know, he goes back a long way with both me and you.
Did you mark him?
He was one of those fellas that liked to stay in the full forward. You know, where those fellas that go in there because they didn't like the sort of.
Yeah, you weren't a man marker, so you knew to stay. You knew to stay. Leave that job down to McNulty.
I was what do you call it? I was back there for long enough.
Sweeper.
See,
right.
when you started getting, like, you know, you had to play a wee bit more football out the field.
After the last game in Sligo, brilliant comeback by Armagh. Pádraig Joyce was asked after the semi-final about that game, and he referenced that he had sent you a text that night after the match. What was in the text?
He said, like, you know, like we'd meet again, like that they'd get through to the final, and so would we.
The hype in Armagh at the minute is something else.
I hope the county goes nuts. You know, like it's these 2 weeks that you can really sort of enjoy. Like obviously we hope like we get a result, like and do the business, and that'll determine whether they go nuts for another couple of weeks or not. But I think the fans deserve to do that. Like you're just trying to get the players to understand that. Like,
what does Kieran McGeeney do to relax?
No, I love jiu-jitsu. I took that up about 12 years ago. That's my main go-to thing. Unfortunately, over the last 10 weeks, like I had to get my 2 muscles reattached to my shoulder, and my bicep moved and attached somewhere else. So I've missed it. I missed it severely.
I was asked the other day, why is Kieran McGeeney called Geezer? And I started scratching my head because I've been calling you that for a long time, and I don't know the reason.
It goes back to primary 6, I think it was, in Mullaban. There was a fella called Adrian Grant, and we'd done a story on geezers that day, and that like the hot water and blowing the top and all that sort of stuff. You know, even back then, like you could say I had a fiery temper, and somebody.
Back then.
Yeah, like I'm definitely calm. Like you know, it doesn't just completely mellowed. Like somebody asked, like he talked about McGeeney and Geezer sounding similar, like, and Mrs. McCann asked him, like, you know, who's your partner, and he said Geezer.
That's it.
That was it.
Well, tell us something about Geezer that the public don't know.
Oh, there's a lot.
Tell me one.
Elvis Presley fan.
Enough said. On that note, I think we'll finish. Kieran, thanks for your time and the best of luck.
No bother. Cheers, Peter. Thanks a lot.
That was absolutely brilliant. Is Kieran McGeeney's team going to be absolutely brilliant this afternoon? You would imagine they will have to be if they're going to repeat what he did back in 2002 and bring Sam Maguire back to the Orchard. That would be the man looking to emulate Kieran McGeeney as well, Captain Aidan Forker. And as we've heard all the time about this panel of 40, they won't be allowed to have 40 taking out today. They'll have to have the squad of 26. Peter, you may see that the Armagh players warming up right behind us, by the way. You asked him what has changed about him down through the years. What do you think has changed about him down through the years?
I'm not too sure if there's that much has changed about him. As a performer, he was ultra competitive. I still see that edge there in him. Maybe as a manager, the first few years he was all into it, and the press got a rattle a few once or twice. See this past 2 or 3 years, I think he has grown into that position as manager, and things that's happening on the outside doesn't really affect him. He's a very focused, single-minded individual. Always was, and I don't think that's going to change anything soon.
Peter, I think what's noticeable as well, we always make the assumption that Kieran is completely engrossed, and someone that's, the way he spoke there, he's very relaxed, and like he's taken in this occasion. Like
I was going to say that too, Lee. You're dead right. Off the field of play, a lot of people think he's a very serious individual. He enjoys himself when he gets out the whole time, and I would have experienced that once or twice as well. So the stern exterior that he puts out there, that's not the real Kieran McGeeney. I don't believe that for one minute.
Well, it's funny because Kyle Coney, another ex-Tyrone man, Lee, said, I remember hearing him say a few years ago, that he was right on the Tyrone-Armagh border. He used to see Kieran go in with some of the Armagh players, and he was actually jealous of the bond that they had together.
And it's so evident from the way, like even the way Forker and McGruben talked before this final, that there was a serious bond in this group, and there has to be, because the stuff they've had gone through over the last 2 or 3 years, the heartbreak, they're such a resilient bunch of players, and they're here because they've shown why they're doing it, and not only for themselves, but you can see the love they have for McGeeney and the trust they have, and they're here in merit.
So, Tomas, if there's a misperception about their manager, is there also a misperception about the way that they approach football matches as well?
Well, there is this perception that they're an extremely defensive team, Joanne, and that they don't commit bodies forward, or they're not gung-ho when they attack. I think the opposite is actually in play. Galway's best chance of hurting Armagh are with long kicks and, I suppose, turnovers. Here, this is what Armagh want to do. Armagh want to slow ball. They kick the ball short here. They want to make contact. They chase, they tackle, they harry. They do not leave Galway out. All the while, Joanne, there is space behind in that Armagh defence if you can get it out. But they're so adept at tackling and chasing and harrying. I think it's an area where Galway can work on. Here you see Roscommon. Armagh, plenty of bodies committed forward. Roscommon get their turnover. They have 2 or 3 players. They do not not have a player to kick it up because every Roscommon player was too far back. Galway, they played 3 up at times, a lot of the time. Comer, Walsh and Finnerty stay up, so that kick will be on. Roscommon got an easy enough score. Here, they played their attacking game. You see Blaine Hughes loading him over to the right-hand side. They can play it straight up the middle, they can overload to one side, or they can spread out over a full half. Again, the key thing here is every Armagh player is committed forward. And here, they kick it into the goalie's hands again. This is where the turnover happens. Everybody's inside, but when Shane Ryan gets that ball, every Armagh player is up. You see Paul Murphy who sneaks out and he wanders off in here. Shane Ryan tries to pick him out. Diarmuid O'Connor is off Paul Murphy's shoulder here and could have released him. There was no cover behind it. Fast forward 40 seconds in the exact same game, Armagh in the same place, and they commit bodies forward, John. We said this, they do commit everybody forward. Shawnee Shea is up high here. Paddy Clifford gets on the ball, head up, kicks it long, and it's afterwards, the one time they did get it right. Armagh players don't know where these 3 other Kerry players are coming from. Should have been a goal for Kerry. So the way Galway set up with their 3 forwards up the pitch, it is an area where Armagh can be got at. I think Galway did very well in the first half against Donegal with their long kickouts. It's not very often the Armagh team are caught out of position. When they're set, very hard to score against. But Armagh, I suppose, they're always given, dirt that they're not committing bodies forward or they're slow getting forward. They have developed as this season has gone on and they do commit everybody forward.
Those couple of clips, Tomas, when they were chasing the game, that's when they were exposed. Generally, they've only conceded 1 goal in the last 6 games and they've been playing against quality opposition. So, and today it's got to be the same. They've got to hang in there because if the game's close going into the last 15 minutes, Armagh will be really confident that they have the bench to get them over the line.
Galway have a brilliant bench. Galway have...
They have, but possibly not as strong or hasn't made the same impact as Armagh.
I take that, but I do think if you're coming in, one of their mainstays is their subs bench, and Joyce has to have a plan for that. You'd imagine a huge plan for it.
Do you know what? We might get to the substitutes in a little while, but there has actually been a significant change to the starting lineup. So let's get confirmation of the 15 men who will line up for Armagh and Galway on All-Ireland final day with our commentary team. Eamon Fitzmaurice is with Darragh Maloney.
Hi Joanne, thanks very much indeed. We'll tell you about Sean Kelly being ruled out of the Galway team and Keane Darcy starting in just a few minutes. But Eamon Fitzmaurice, incredible atmosphere around here, and it's been like this since about 10:30 this morning.
It's unbelievable altogether, Darragh. It's only the 9th All-Ireland final ever not featuring Munster or Leinster team, and it reflects itself in the crowd, the atmosphere. It's electric here, it's brilliant. It's worth mentioning there is a strong wind from the hill down in towards us, a bit unusual in that it's coming into us and not going in the opposite direction, so that could have a bearing on things, particularly kickouts.
Okay, let's get stuck into these teams now, and we'll start with Armagh. Blaine Hughes, very much in the all-star mix after an impressive year. He's only conceded 3 goals in the run to the final and has very good variety with his kickouts. Barry McCambridge is the youngest in the full back line, but he kept David Clifford pretty quiet the last day and has also scored a couple of goals, so when he pops up an attack, Galway better beware. Aidan Falker is the captain and one of their key leaders. He reads the game beautifully. His experience and coolness under pressure will be vital to Armagh today. Niall Grimley has battled his way back after not playing for most of the championship, but with his return to fitness and form, that's seen him come back into the midfield. Rian O'Neill, crucial to Armagh's hopes of winning only their 2nd All-Ireland title. The Crossmaglen man can score from anywhere, especially from long range, and when he does, they are usually quite spectacular. Rory Grugan sets the tone for the team in defence and attack. He sets up so many scoring chances for his teammates with his brilliant range of passes, and with Turbert and Murnan his top targets, they are dangerous when he looks up the field. Armagh have had great impact off the bench, really significant in their later games. The likes of Campbell, Burns and Duffy all dying for the chance to affect this All-Ireland final. What about Galway? Conor Gleeson, only beaten once in their run to this All-Ireland final. He was the match winner against Mayo with his long-range free, and his kickouts will most mostly target the impressive aerial ability that Galway have out the field. Johnny McGrath is the best man marker in this reshaped full-back line. He will renew his duel probably with Conor Turbot. John Daly can't force his way into the Galway half-back line. It says a lot about the form of Liam Silk, who was away travelling last year, but also the form of Dylan McHugh has put him into Footballer of the Year territory with a string of impressive displays, especially in their last two matches. That big news, Sean Kelly, their captain, he does not start. His place is taken by Cian Darcy. Kelly has been plagued by injury since last year, but he is on the bench, and we've been watching him over the last few minutes take a full part in the warm-up, so he will be available to come in if they need him. The half-forward line could well be the strongest in this Galway team. Like so many of his teammates in 24, Killian McDade had an injury-blighted year, but he's made it back and was brilliant in the final 2 years ago when he was in the mix for Footballer of the Year as well. The full forward line packed with talent, skill, grit and loads of scores. Galway are a different team when Damien Comer is playing, and like Shane Walsh, he just loves the big stage. Unlike 2 years ago, Galway now have a very impressive depth to their bench. The likes of Daly, Heaney, Culhan and Malloy are all capable of having big parts to play in this All-Ireland final.
And we absolutely cannot wait. So Sean Kelly, we've seen this happen before. Even when he's not starting, he does always go in for the throw-in, and he will definitely be the man climbing the steps if it is Galway who are to win this evening. Now we go from a multi-All-Ireland winner in the commentary box to another who is pitchside. Enda McGinley is updated.
Thanks very much, Joanne. Just looking at the warm-ups here, Enda McGinley is beside me. Pádraig Joyce is in the thick of the warm-up there. Kieran McGeeney's going around like casually observing everything, but just with the narrative of this game, kick-out strategies, nobody gives away frees, nobody gives away goals. The substitutes bench look fairly matched as well. Where do the inches come from in this one, Enda?
Yeah, well, as the cliche is, it's a game all about inches. The irony for a big game today, both teams will think that they've got that inch on their opponent, but equally their opponent thinks the opposite. So for Armagh, they'll be thinking Galway do love the long kick out. That's a predictable thing, so they'll want to have prepared for that. And you can see with the changes, the likes of the inclusion of Conor Mackin, they're hoping to be able to compete with Galway in that middle third, and then we'll see, can Galway have come up the answers. The other inch, Armagh will definitely think they have is coming off the bench. They've been so strong this year. Stephen Campbell, of course, the famous one, but there's so many others there, so they'll think coming down the stretch they've got that strength.
The wind is blowing in 3 or 4 different directions around this field. There appears to be slightly more Armagh in the crowd at the moment. Sean Hurston over there, the man in the middle. Enda, you know him, an insight please.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Sean was 2 years above me in school. He's a Galway man. Huge occasion. He's been here before, of course, with Galway in 22. There was a wee tight call at the end of that game, but he's an exceptionally experienced referee, top man in the game. He will let this game go. I think he'll watch for a wee bit of heat early doors that can come when two teams know each other so well. He's tight on the wee technical things, but I'm sure he's got great umpires there, 4 thrown men as umpires, 2 experienced linesmen. I'm sure the officials will have a good one today.
And a final question for you. The weight of history rests upon these young men's shoulders. Just from your own insight and your own perspective, you were playing your All-Ireland finals. Did it get easier as you went along? Do Galway have an edge there being here just 2 years ago, or will Armagh's resilience all the way through just stand in equal measure?
You can argue either way. Galway being here means that they lose that sort of buzz or that adrenaline, or the pats on the back would have meant nothing this week. They know it only matters about crossing over the line. Armagh, on the other hand, they're coming on a wave of momentum, the hysteria that you can see in the county, so that will give them a boost. Who comes out the better of that, we don't know. But as you say, and I put it in a wee article this morning, the hand of history is on these players. We all grew up watching these games on our TV, and you remember the moments that happen in these games for the rest of your life, and even longer than that. So the players are aware of that. It plays out something special. We'll see who grasps that moment today.
Thanks, Enda. Back to you, Joanne.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like it's going to be special. We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of hours, but recent experience suggests that it is going to be close.
AIB, proud sponsors of the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship.
Believe in yourself and you can be whatever you want to be.
If he didn't have autism, then he wouldn't be himself.
Will you marry me? Really?
Building on what Irishness looks like.
I'm alive!
Ireland, we're bringing it back. The changes we've made will make a difference to our environment, our communities, and our future. With Return, we're valuing resources, recycling more efficiently, and working towards achieving our EU targets. From the colourful to the creative, Return is about doing the right thing, and bringing it back is bringing out the best in all of us. Return today, and together we can help make a better future for us all.
Tune out. Bin your gum when you're done.
Yo, wanna smell premium? You gotta try this new Lynx then. The new Lynx Fine Fragrance Collection. Smell finer than the finest fragrances.
There are those who care about nature, and there are those of us who care for it. With new ways to reduce our carbon footprint, to support Ireland's biodiversity, to produce dairy more sustainably. We're committed, and we're thousands strong.
It's better outside with the Ninja Woodfire family. House parties are better with perfect pizzas in under 3 minutes. Bank holiday meals are better with 370-degree high heat roasting. Weekends are better with authentic smoky flavors. Camping trips are better, grilled and air-fried favorites. Match days are better with low and slow barbecue smoking. Garden barbecues are better with connected app cooking. No matter how you're spending your time outside, it's better outside with Ninja.
It's Julie. Julie's on the phone.
At AIB, we can help you keep doing what matters to you. Book a chat with an AIB advisor to get real guidance on how to build your financial future. AIB, for the life you're after.
Shoes already. What's next?
I don't know. Well, she's definitely going to be the best student in her class. What if she gets really into sport? Maybe not that into sport. Then there's marriage. That could be a big one. And what if I'm not around? And what if...
I know. Maybe we should concentrate on the shoes.
For 80 years, we've been helping people embrace life's changes. For health, life, pensions and investments. A better life with Irish Life.
Is it going to be a 10th All-Ireland title for Galway or just a second ever for the Orchard? We'll find out very, very shortly. It's funnily enough, we haven't actually spoken about Shane Walsh just yet, but maybe we could get into matchups in a moment. He'll obviously feature prominently tomorrow. So first of all, let's talk about Sean Kelly. There was some suspicion that he wouldn't end up starting today, but the difference that he might make, we might actually hold off on that in a moment because we can hear behind us, Uachtar the Heron, Michael D. Higgins is about to come out onto pitch alongside Jarlath Burns. So Uachtar the Heron there. Uachtar Cumul Closcail, Jarlath Burns, a famous Armagh man whose son will probably play a key role today. Tomás, let's first of all talk about that. So Sean Kelly's absence.
Yeah, Sean is going to be a huge loss, Joanne. I didn't expect it. I think he's been massive for Galway all season, albeit going probably 3/4%. We all know what injuries Galway have had all year. But to start without your captain is a knock. He's the kind of a guy who you need around the middle of the park, who probably isn't a natural midfielder, but is a guy who inspires all around him. And even in that Connacht final, I'll always remember, he wasn't going right. He made 3 or 4 huge contact tackles at the end of that match. So he is one of their leaders. I'd have him up there with the Comer and the Walshes in terms of importance. So number 1, you're losing your captain. Number 2, you're losing a key player, and it is massive. Whether he comes in late on, I'm pretty sure if he was able to start, he would be starting. So it is a loss.
He will have an impact, though. That's the kind of guy he is, and I'd say he knew well in advance he was starting. They do have a good replacement in Cian Darcy. He's done very well up to this point. So Galway have been able to adapt to the situation. It's not something it's new for them. It's what they've had to go through all year.
And he's a massive man. Cian Darcy, he's 6'3" or 4. So I would say, whilst a lot of people maybe weren't expecting it, I think Armagh were, because their decision to drop Peter McGrean, a player that has played all year for them at cornerback, because he's a smaller, slight in stature, and they're bringing in Conor Mackin, a 6-footer, to try and counter the physicality and the height advantage that this Galway team has around the sector, around the middle sector. So that was a massive decision for Kieran McGeaney to make, but they know the type of Peter McGrean, they know his stock, which is pretty good. They know that he's not going to huff and puff about that, and that he'll be there ready to be called on if needed.
Let's get more into this middle sector then that you mentioned, because especially when these two teams are playing, you always talk about that midfield battle and the kickouts, which obviously are linked as well, Tomás.
Yeah, well, you don't know, Joanne. We were arguing earlier on, will Armagh press early, because they got that famous goal above in Sligo that turned the whole match. So I don't think any team can press up full on for a full match. So I think it'll be after freeze, it'll be set plays, but mostly the excitement happens when teams push on. Galway don't mind. I think if Armagh push up in any way, it will be going long. And they have their big men out around the middle of the field. You know, Paul Conroy, Matthew Tierney, John Maher has been absolutely brilliant. Killian McDade, Liam Silk. They have huge men around there, but so have Armagh. And I think if teams push up at certain stages, like it's gone to the stage now, Joanne, teams know, and teams are comfortable pushing up, teams are comfortable setting off. And teams, likewise, attacking with the ball are comfortable attacking a set defence as well. Yeah. So it's going to be, I think it's actually going to come down to the last 10 minutes, those key plays. If there's a serious turnover, it'll be fair excitement, but I do think people are going to think it's going to be ultra defensive. Galway and Armagh will knock on the door early as well.
The aspect of the kickouts is going to determine whether or not it's going to be a cagey game, because if Armagh decide to go after the Galway kickout, then this game could really open up. Yeah. Now, they did, the last time they played them, they won 4 or 5 of Gleeson's kickouts, long kickouts in the first half against Galway, and they got the goal and a point in the second half, so it worked for them. So the temptation is to go after that again. Now, Donegal tried that and failed, and Jim McGinnis had to change it and revert back to it. But if both teams go after each other kickouts, then it will lead to a brilliant game. If not, if they concede the kickouts, then it's going to be very tactical and a lot of lateral passing side to side.
Look, it's funny, those 4 boys who are right in our picture there, what an impact that they could have. Obviously, we automatically talk about Comer Walsh. Rob Finnerty, you could claim, has possibly been their best forward this year. And since Killian McDade came back in fully fit, Lee.
I think the great thing is everyone that's playing well this year seems to skip the league. So Killian McDade is no different, but he's the type of guy today that could light up this All-Ireland final, and we know what he did 2 years ago. He kicked 4 points and he's up for Football of the Year. I'm expecting another Shane Welch performance for the ages. I just think he's been simmering a little bit. I know he's carrying injury, but I think the stage is set for somebody like him as well to light up today, and if he gets a point early, Joanne, then we could see the real Shane Welch go at it. And I just think in terms of the matchups, I do think Barry McCambridge is going to tag him, and not only just tag him, we've seen what he can do the other way as well. So Shane Welch is going to have to take that on. And from the flip side, I think Johnny McGrath, who's the best man marker in the country, is destined to take up Conor Turbo, which is going to be a brilliant tussle as well.
Who do you think are the key matchups outside of that? Obviously, Damien Comer, we're waiting for him to light up an All-Ireland final, because obviously a couple of years ago he was superb throughout the championship, but he didn't get himself into the game against Kerry.
No, and he's probably simmering, Joanne. I mean, Paddy Burns will probably pick up Finnerty. McCambridge will pick up Walsh, possibly an Armagh, Comer. They're three key players for them. You'd imagine they defend collectively anyway, so that's going to be huge. Reno O'Neill will be a big one for Armagh. Who do they pick on him because he is massive? I think it's set for the likes of Grugan. Everybody's talking about Turbot, and he's had a great year. Grugan hasn't fired from a scoring point of view, and it's always an All-Ireland final, Joanne. Somebody at Bolter comes who has a massive game as well, so it's well set up. John Maher has had a huge year for Armagh.
Armagh's perspective, I think the biggest debate that they would have had over who to put on who would be who's going to pick up Killian McDaid, because there's a number of players who could perform that role. Maybe Conor Mackin, that's why he's been brought in. Tiernan Kelly would be well able to do that as well, but you can talk about Walsh and Finnerty and all the rest. When the chips were down for Galway in the past couple of games, who was it that sprung to life, got them going with key scores? It was Killian McDaid. So he's a key player to be stopped from an Armagh
we haven't really discussed the impact of the bench as such, and Armagh, it has been absolutely key. Armagh wouldn't be here without their bench, that's for definite. So if Galway have a plan, and I would imagine of all the subs that Armagh have, McQuillan has been brilliant, but Stephen Campbell, they'll have to man-mark him when he's introduced.
He'll be well talked about in the Galway camp this week, absolutely. Like, if he's not taken care of today, that'll be a massive impact in this game.
And sorry, there was one Galway man as well, in Johnny Heaney, I think you wanted to highlight.
For all the talk about Armagh's impact, I think Johnny Heaney has been sensational. Like, a guy that's started most of his career Galway, but he's coming on, he's making a huge impact. Tom O'Cullinan, the type of these guys, then Sean Kelly to add to that as well. So Galway's bench is equally as good as Armagh as well.
No more than one word each. All-Ireland champions, Peter?
Armagh.
Galway.
Okay, split decision, no surprise. Agus Mómí live Talk the fall. Oscaile le Dara Canadian Agus Garnock Donacare serve you on RT News Channel. Agus Aaron, RT player, in front of a very vocal, noisy crowd on both sides. Our commentary team for the 2024 All-Ireland Football Final, Eamon and Dara.
Joanne, thank you very much indeed. Well, wherever you are in the world, we are delighted that you are with us on the north side of Dublin City for the 24 All-Ireland Senior Football Final. These moments for the players in the parade, so special for them, for their families and their clubs, and they get to just drink it all in as they walk around this famous stadium. You can judge for yourself whether you think there's more support for Armagh here or for Galway. Armagh first wore orange and white in a junior All-Ireland semi-final against Dublin in 1926. The Dominican nuns of O'Meath knitted them a kit of orange and white. Prior to that, they wore black and amber. Galway's first football and hurling All-Irelands in the 1920s at senior level, when they were wearing blue and gold. They wore black and amber before that in 1919. They changed to maroon and white in 1934, just 8 days before the All-Ireland final against Dublin. The maroon and white inspired by a brilliant UCG team of that time, of 1933 and 1934. The noise here, Eamon, is just incredible.
It's incredible there. I hope the viewers at home are getting a sense of the occasion, because it's unbelievable. There's a smell of sulphur in the air coming off the flares up in the hill. There'll be probably sulphur as soon as the ball is thrown in. McGeaney has them in tight again for one last few hours before they go. But as you said, what an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, the Armagh players, interestingly, they don't have All-Ireland Football Final printed on the front of the shirt. Limerick, their hurlers, did that in the All-Ireland Final last year. Galway do have it printed in Irish on the front of their jersey. Maybe Armagh's attitude, well, obviously it's just like any other game, but it's not.
Eagle eye, Dara. Great spot, Dara.
So the two teams lined up along the respective 45-metre lines. Armagh warmed up in front of Hill 16, Galway down at the Davin stand end, and on All-Ireland Final Day 2024 we pause for Auron Navian, and just before we do that, a very important time of the day as we remember Padraig O'Neill, who died last week at the age of just 58. Padraig played with Armagh in the 1980s and 1990s, and he's the uncle of Rian, Oisin and Callum O'Neill. We remember Padraig and his family here in Croke Park today.
his family, extended families, Padraig's many friends and the GA community in Armagh. We send our deepest condolences and responding to stay for the county. Yesterday, go on Dealish. And Ishikaja are on the Vian. Okasadoing Banakyo Lardain, Freestu Ronan O'Reilly. The anthem will be facilitated by ISL interpreter Sabrina Hanley, conducted by Vanessa O'Connell.
The wind is not as strong as it was about 20 minutes ago. And the questions, all the questions, we're going to get them answered. Sean Herson from County Tyrone is the referee. His second All-Ireland final did Galway Kerry in 22. Brendan Cawley of Kildare and Paddy Nealon from Roscommon are his linesmen. So does Sam go to Armagh for the second time, or across the Shannon to Galway for the 10th? Let's go. The 2024 All-Ireland Senior Football Final. Armagh won the toss, and Galway have won the throw-in. They were here 2 years ago, lost to Kerry by 4. Here's Paul Conroy, getting better as the years tick by. He's 35. John Marr, second year on the Galway team. Jack Glynn, Armagh just sitting right back. Everybody inside their own 65 at the moment. Will the first few minutes of this be cagey? Rob Finnerty, his dad was on up for the match last night. Sean Fitzgerald, his second year on the Galway team as well. Johnny McGrath. A lot of players getting a lot of touches of the football. That's Sean Mulcairn from the Aran Islands. Back with John Marr again. Marr's had a big year, very influential in the last couple of games for Galway, from Salthill, Knocknacarra. Matthew Tierney from Uachtarard. So Galway pressing right up. All their outfield players are inside the Armagh 65, and actually, well, most of them inside the 45. Jack Glynn, he's from Clare, Galway. They have to be precise here. Turnover is going to be a huge part of this battle for Sam Maguire.
Similar to the early stages of the battle in Sligo earlier on in the year, Dara, when Galway had a lot of ball in these kind of positions, and rather than take it into contact or risk turnovers, they were happy to play it around and eventually open up the shooting opportunities.
Now they've owned the ball. Killian McDade was brilliant in the final 2 years ago. So many Galway players go back to the league. They were fortunate enough to stay in the top flight. That at one stage 15 starters out injured. They really had to grow the squad, and now Conroy gets the shot away. This is for the first point of the All-Ireland final, and it's a brilliant score from Paul Conroy. He's on this team since 2008, and he just gets better as he gets older.
Brilliant score. Watch out for Conroy Dara. When he gets a start like this, anything could happen. In terms of the warm-ups before Hughes gets his first kick out away, long predictable lines, McCambridge and Shane Welch, Paddy Burns and Rob Finnerty. But interestingly, at the start, Farker has gone back into the full-back position on Damien Comer. Whether they'll keep it that way, at the other side, along predictable lines as well.
you will see great variety in the kickouts from Blaine Hughes, and Armagh really good at ticking their way through the lines and working their way up the field. Rory Grugan, Galway have given them width on the outside. This is McElroy for Armagh. They're level. Massive roar.
Great score. Armagh are probably the best team in the country. They're getting shots away from their short kickouts, as they did there. Great start from McElroy. Great start to the game. Hopefully this pace keeps up.
Oisin Connaughton with the first Armagh score of the game.
In terms of the matchups on the Armagh side, then Turbot has been picked by Johnny McGrath, Murnan by Sean Fitzgerald, Rian O'Neill by Liam Silk, Rory Grugan by Jack Lynn, along predictable lines.
Dylan McHugh.
There's some atmosphere here, Dara.
There really is. The crowds have been gathering, or were gathering, outside the stadium from pretty much 10:30 this morning.
Farker is staying on Comer. All right, Dara, that's not a matchup that we would have called during the week. Aaron McKay is sweeping, as he's done to such effect for a lot of the games. So an interesting call, a big call. Farker is physically strong to match up with Comer.
John Marr, Paul Conroy, 214 he's got this year. Jack Lynn. Sean Fitzgerald.
Galway have that set up in attack now, where they're wide and deep. They're keeping the D open. They try to play 1-2s in this area of the pitch then to open those gaps.
Yeah, they really have cleared out around the D, and you can see Oisin Connaughton at the edge of the D for Armagh. Cian Darcy just making a little run forward, takes a marker with him. Sean Fitzgerald. Johnny McGrath got ahead of him. Dylan McHugh.
Armagh trusting their defensive system with regard to Dylan McHugh as well. There you could see them passing on there. I thought they might have tasked someone to keep an eye on him, because he's so important to Galway's attacking game. But Joe McElroy is keeping an eye on him, but he's willing to pass it on when he kind of leaves his zone.
Dylan McHugh. Rob Finnerty. Matthew Tierney. Tierney pretty much surrounded by Armagh defenders. This is Liam Silk from Currafin. Can go off left and right. Went with the left that time. They were patient. They found a way through. Galway 2-1.
Excellent score. I was talking to Morris Brosnan during the week, and they're after losing the kick out here, Dara.
They messed up the kick out, and the referee's given a free in. Galway can grow their lead here.
Yeah, to be fair to Blaine Hughes, it went through, I think it was Aaron McKay's legs. I'm not sure who it was. Foul given away. He's been 100% against Kerry. The last day he was 100% in Sligo, but they're down here. You see Tiernan Kelly came in, took Rob Finnerty out of it. Good opportunity now as well for Galway to press this here after the kick out.
So this is Rob Finnerty out of picture. Pádraig Joyce and Cian O'Neill having a word with Dylan McHugh down on the sideline. Just want to tweak something. So Finnerty has kicked 16 frees out of 133. Important for the free taker to get the first one, and that's exactly what's happened. They lead 3-1 after 7 minutes.
Armagh are good at dealing with this kind of an aggressive press, Dara. They break into space and then they isolate Andrew Murnan long, but Galway hadn't overcommitted, so he was able to get it away short.
Here come Armagh. Paddy Burns plays with St Mary's in the Burren and County Down. Oisin Connaughton in the mix for Young Player of the Year, no doubt about that. Barry McCambridge, 2-4 he's got this year. Connaughton got the first, now he goes for the second. 2 for him.
2 points for Joe McElroy. Great start for him. They're a dream start in the All-Ireland final. 2 points in play, 7 minutes in, and they've won the Galway kick-out.
Here they come. Rian O'Neill. The wind just drops that one on top of Andrew Murnan, and Turbot was in there after it, and the referee's given a free. and the free will be for Galway.
Yeah, they did well defensively there. We expected a few of those early bombs in. Good hand from Johnny McGrath. Even though Conor Turbot had got the ground in him, they'd prefer to see Andrew Murnan under that if they could.
You may have spotted the seagull on the pitch. It's actually in the Galway half of the field at the moment, but the poor thing has a broken wing.
I was mixed up there with Oisin Connaughty there. He's wearing 12s today rather than 10. He's 2 points Scott. As he had shots in the semi-final, it didn't work out, but he had 4 in the previous game, so well capable of that.
No, don't worry, it got me as well. Here we go with Dylan McHugh, very definitely number 5. Johnny McGrath's got ahead of him, closed down by Paddy Burns. Burns did really well for Armagh.
Wondering, have Galway a problem already? Johnny Heaney's warming up. He's below talking to Cian O'Neill very early in the game for that. Hopefully it's not Dylan McHugh that they were talking to, as you mentioned a second ago, but we'll see in a second.
I think that may have been a tactical alteration, but we will see. Andrew Murnan. Murnan needs some support, and he got it too. Slick handling from Armagh. Rian O'Neill. Murnan again. Niall Grimley. Tiernan Kelly.
This is more typical of the Armagh attack now, where they bunch in around the D and get these kind of pockets of space there. They're keeping the space wide. They will attack into those spaces then.
Just moving it around nicely. Rory Grugan sets up so many scoring chances for his teammates. We understand it's Rob Finnerty who's going off the Galway team.
He took a heavy knock to the leg, and I'd say it might have even been the knee that he's nursing, Dara.
Conor Mackin. Now they've worked it to Ben Creeley. Creeley gets the shot away. That's a lovely score. Fine team score for Armagh. 3 each, nothing between them.
Yeah, excellent. They're good at developing that. We see that substitution there now, as you said. Rob Finnerty going off. Huge disappointment for him, only 10 minutes into the game. Involves a change of shape for Galway as well. Matthew Tierney's going inside. Johnny Heaney on the wing. It was in that collision with Tiernan Kelly there, and it was into that knee where he has a bit of a cartilage problem. So big disappointment. At least he managed to kick the free over the bar.
Well, Heaney, you speak about depth in the squads. That's an indication when you can bring Johnny Heaney in. So Armagh win the Galway long kick-out.
That's the second in a row now, Dara, so could expect to see Galway in the next one try and get a short one to retain possession.
And that's kind of what Armagh want them to do, so they can put pressure on. Here's Rian O'Neill. Aidan Forker outside of the left boot. He's normally brilliant at those first wide.
There's a notable pace about the Armagh's play and attack there. Everything they're doing, it's quick, it's slick, it's impressive. Gleeson is looking for a short one here after losing the too long. He has those kind of mid-range options there. Killian McDade, Sean Mulcairn are very free. Surely he'll pick them out.
So the short kick out over towards the injured Seagull. And Killian McDade. Sean Mulcairn.
That was a strange kind of press from Armagh. That one, you know, that obvious one was there for Conor Gleeson to pick out.
Dylan McHugh, Johnny Heaney involved. Johnny McGrath, Liam Silk, Paul Conroy opened the scoring in the All-Ireland final. Sean Fitzgerald from Barna, very comfortable in these kind of areas of the field. Keane Darcy. Shane Walsh, look at him go. Super pace, massive amount of skill. Back to Conroy. Johnny Heaney. 30 seconds ago he was over on the Hogan stand side, and there he is now. He's now moving into a sort of an old centre half forward position. John Marr, Dylan McHugh, Marr again, That orange wall in front of him. Patience, the key for both teams actually when they're faced with this kind of defensive screen. Galway only conceded 1 goal in the championship, Armagh 3. So Galway quite clearly have had more of the ball.
Yeah, they're holding on to in this kind of areas there, but they're not threatening, and Armagh are happy enough with this kind of a situation.
Damien Comer had to get Dylan McHugh out of the way.
As I said earlier, very similar to the pattern of the game in Sligo, where Galway were hugely patient in possession and getting their shots off. They are one of the most patient teams in terms of doing that. That game, they had 32 attacks, they got 28 shots off it, they turn over the ball very little, similar against Donegal in the semi-final.
Dylan McHugh, good running off him from Liam Silk. They opened up a bit of a gap there. McHugh loops round again. Killian McDade. Problem for them is they're back where they started. So Heaney keeping out wide. Here he is. Sean Fitzgerald attacked forward, offering a different dimension.
Armagh reacted to that substitution as well with Matthew Tierney inside now. Dara Conor Mackin has gone back to match him in terms of the aerial ability, because he is an option for a high ball inside there as well at some stages.
Yeah, when will they try that? Will Armagh try it down at the other end? They had 1 go at it from Rian O'Neill, and the wires crossed there, but that is a Galway ball.
Damien Comer felt the challenge was a bit high in that he could have maybe got a free. Strong hand from Joe McElroy there. Kieran Donaghy's getting into Derek O'Mahony's here. You can hear him as plain as day over the mics. I recognise that voice.
Killian McDade from way out wide. That's their first one. Patience is the key. Off we go with Joe McElroy, ever present in the league and championship. Barry McCambridge. Oisin Connaughty, Tiernan Oak.
Grimley's gone inside and he's available. John Maher's followed him in, so they do that during the course of games as well to give that option.
Dylan McHugh's the sweeper. He's got to get across to Grugan, and now it comes back out to Grimley. Brilliant block down, wonderful from John Maher, but the danger's still there. But now it's been cleared by Dylan McHugh, who did his job to perfection. Oh, apart from the pass, that was a risky one. The bounce, and in come Armagh. Tiernan Kelly in after it. Referee calls a halt.
Liam Silk took a heavy hit, all right. Very unlike Dylan McHugh to tee up one of his teammates and put them under pressure in a situation like that. Brilliant block from John Maher initially. I think it was probably the collision at the end with Ben Creeley. That's John Maher's block down, outstanding. For that, Grugan had done brilliantly. He kind of did a dummy backdoor cut, went out, came back in and got a dangerous pass inside. But good defence from Galway.
Just to go back to the Finnerty substitution, the Rob Finnerty injury, he was their top scorer and is their top scorer. There's loads of other scoring talent, as we know, in that team and on the bench, but Finnerty was top of the charts for Galway in the 24 championship.
Yeah, and you know, the what ifs as a management team beforehand are, will they have, you know, the free kick taker from this side as well. Matthew Tierney will probably take over those duties.
Over 10 minutes since Galway last scored, as you saw. Paul Conroy got their first score after 2 minutes, and then just hesitated a bit. Jack Glynn. Here's Damien Comer. Comer off the left. Damien Comer for Galway.
It's going to Hawkeye, you see? No. Oh yeah, they're going Hawkeye, yeah. He thinks it's a point anyway.
He sure does.
The umpire tangled with the ball by then as the ball was going over the bar as well. There, it's all happening.
Yeah. Even off the field.
Ooh. Just over the top, is it?
No, that's not. That's that imaginary line on the top of the post. If it makes any contact with that, it's no point. So Damien Comer will have to wait a little longer. Stays at 3 each.
Armagh pressed up well. This will go down on top of Andrew Murnan.
Massive kick from Blaine Hughes into the gap, and there's a free, and it's a free in for Armagh. So Galway have got to get back and set up quickly. But Armagh not in a mad rush to take it. Conor Macken. Niall Grimley. Rian O'Neill. Oof, there was no way through there. The referee's given a free in, and Paul Conroy is puzzled at that, and Rian O'Neill is pumped.
Huge collision. You see Rian O'Neill gathered it. I suppose Sean Hurson read it as Cian Darcy came in as a kind of a frontal charge. Rian O'Neill was in possession, but it's a hallmark of Armagh. They're so accurate with their hand passing in those tight quarters, especially inside around the D where they're under pressure.
And they really trust each other in tight spaces to give each other the ball no matter how tightly they are being marked. Conor Turbot for Armagh, and Turbot has missed it. Oh, that's a surprise. That was for the lead.
I was watching Rian O'Neill kicking off the ground beforehand, practicing 50s, and he was bombing absolutely everything over the bar. So in that distance, especially into the bit of a breeze, you'd nearly expect him to kick it.
And Gleeson goes long. Nice from Johnny Heaney. John Marr. Brilliant from John Marr. Off he goes. Matthew Tierney. They are just dying to get going. Quick attack gives them the opportunity. John Marr for Galway. Slick handling. Here they come. Cian Darcy. Wonderful score. That was beautiful. Best bit of football we've seen. Most direct bit of football we've seen. Galway 4, Armagh 3.
Outstanding. They got the long kick out of the way. How good was John Marr here, there, the way he danced around fellas. Armagh committed to a couple of tackles. They didn't quite make contact. And Cian Darcy at the end, the strength he showed to ride the tackle and kick a great score. Great score.
Darcy 2-7 for him in the championship. Plays his club football in Dublin with Ballyboden St. Enda's.
And this is one of these overloads now. They're all calling them over to this side there. They'll come over towards us here in the Hogan stand, and they leave space at the far side. Here they come.
They're not exactly subtle about it as well. Everybody, 3 or 4 of them waving. Come on over here, lads. So Galway will have prepared for this. Let's see if they can execute.
Killian McDade is actually overstationed in the kind of danger area. He's taken away that bit of space at the far side.
Conor Macken. Oisin Connaughty. Dylan McHugh there, and McHugh has fouled him. Galway's defence, they don't normally give up a huge amount of frees, so they've got to be careful, although out here it's going to be a big one for Rian O'Neill to kick. But do you know what? We've seen him do it before. Armagh haven't scored since the 10th minute.
Yeah, the ones I saw him kicking beforehand, they weren't quite this far out. No, he's
come back.
Yeah.
To Aaron McKay.
They're still loaded up at this side, but they're starting to drift across now. As you said, they're calling over again, and they're trying to get him over, but the Galway lads are clever enough. They're marking at that side to be ready for it.
Galway will have prepared for this. Nice from Tiernan Kelly, but then it just went wrong. It has worked out okay, though, for Aidan Forker, the Armagh captain. Then he's bottled up. Ball squirts out the back. McKay got stuck in. This is like a hurling scrum. And that's more like a ruck or a maul. I never know which is which, but anyway. So Sean Hurson going to throw the ball up away from that clump of players. And now they regather. And that's super from Cian Darcy. The aerial ability that Galway have, well, we'll see how much of an advantage, if it's an advantage at all. But they want this kind of unstructured attack, a bit of chaos. Here they come. Matthew Tierney goes down. That's a free. No question about that. Ran straight into Niall Grimley. And Grimley happy enough to give away the free. We'll see if they can kick it. There's no finishing for Galway.
Yeah, this is the one now. Will it be Matthew Tierney, or will Shane Welch will be comfortable enough at that angle as well. Yeah, he's coming for it, Dara. You'd imagine he'd kick it. You mentioned there about Galway's defence and how good they are discipline-wise. They've only given up an average of 2.3 points from frees this summer. Armagh are only slightly over that with 3.3, but this is the second one now that they're going to be conceding from a free, so it's something that they'll probably maybe address at half-time. Shane Welch going at it with the left.
Galway had a 2-point lead after 7 minutes. We're in the 24th minute, and Walsh is not going to be able to restore the 2-point lead.
I know he's a brilliant player, Darren. He's equally comfortable on left and right, but I just don't get that in an All-Ireland final. Kick it over the bar with your right leg, which is his stronger leg. He did something similar in the Division 1 league final here a couple of years ago, and you know, the absence of Rob Finnerty being felt already.
They could have gone with Matthew Tierney either, but Shane Walsh, that was the call that they made. Here come Armagh, Paddy Burns. Grugan hasn't been hugely influential, but it's still early days. Ben Creeley involved in the move. Conor Mackin burst forward, then he was picked up momentarily by Johnny Heaney. We're with Rian O'Neill. The Seagulls finally gone off the playing area, thankfully. Here's Tiernan Kelly, turns back around. Conor Turban, Rory Grugan, there's one of those passes. He got kind of fortunate, the ball just seemed to stand up in front of Aidan Forker. Missed one earlier, but the captain punches the air as he gets his score.
Inspirational, Dara, inspirational score from your captain. Grugan has 2.13 in assists before today, that's 2.14 now, he's so good at that. Brilliant kick from Forker. We've a great game, in fairness. It might be tactical, it might be close, but there's a lot of good football. There's good pace to the play as well on both sides.
That was their first score in 14 and a bit minutes. Shane Walsh. I think I read today Armagh officially given 16,000 tickets. Somehow they managed to swell that to 30,000, and it's probably more than that. Galway will have done something similar.
Good bit of swapping going on with the hurling last week, I'd say, Dara.
Absolutely. John Marr. Paul Conroy. It's Johnny McGrath. It's as tight as we expected it to be. Killian McDade.
Dylan McHugh out here in front of us again now, waiting for that cut in off the sideline that he's so good at. Here he comes.
Here he comes, Dylan McHugh. Has to go slightly sideways. John Marr. Marr with the shot. I tell you what, he's having a big influence on this game. That marauding run forward earlier on, and he's been at the heart of most good Galway things in the match. 5-4.
Not to mention the work he's doing defensively as well, Dara. That tireless work he always does. Trademark Dylan McHugh move, comes in off the wing at pace, punches the hole, makes the right pass at the right time, and great finish from John Marr.
Here they come, Oisin Connaughty. Great pace about him and about this attack. Darcy is there with him. Connaughty couldn't get around the Galway man. Andrew Murnan, Ben Creeley, Conor Mackin. Andrew Murnan ended up on the ground. The Armagh supporters not at all happy. Rory Grugan.
Sean Herson was close and he was looking straight at it, Dara, so I don't think there was anything major in it.
Conor Mackin. Now Barry McCambridge giving this attack a different dimension, and McCambridge has got 4 points in the championship in 2024. You can make that 5. Galway didn't spot it, they just fell asleep momentarily.
What a score, and there was a bit of a groan from the crowd initially. It went way outside the post and turned back in beautifully. That's the way the breeze is going, and it's helping to bring it back in. Great score, Barry McCambridge. They got another one away short.
The teams have been level 4 times. You get a lot of teams talking about getting 2 or beyond 20 points to win a championship match. We may not need 20 today, if indeed we get a winner on the day.
Mid-teens might be enough today, Dara, considering they don't give up goals at each side either.
Dylan McHugh cuts in again. Marr, Conroy, Killian McDade. So Armagh have everybody back inside their own 45, leaving nobody up for the counter-attack, or if they're able to turn the ball over. Well, if they do that, they'll all burst forward, or many of them together. Johnny Heaney. Sean Mulcairn. Killian McDade. Loops around again. Dylan McHugh. Currafin. Armagh, there's as you can expect, a huge amount of communication between all the players, passing Galway players on at times, just making sure everybody's got everybody else's back. Sean Mulcairn is fouled by Rory Grugan.
Yeah, it was an accidental one. He'd eyes on the ball and he just happened to stand down his Achilles. Sore one for Sean Mulcairn. Difficult enough kick now for Shane Welch again, Dara, but you know he's brilliant at these, and you'd expect him to correct it and make up for that one he missed a couple of minutes ago. Sometimes with him it's nearly the harder the better. It almost really focuses the mind and gets him to concentrate on the kick.
He's just been warned about where he actually makes contact with the ball, so to adjust the run up accordingly. Missed his first one. He's that good. That normally doesn't bother him. Very definitely on the right boot for Shane Walsh. On its way from Walsh, and that is wide. Was that missed on the near side? It's difficult, the perspective up here.
Yeah, missed in the near side, yeah. Not like him.
So a penny for Pádraig Joyce's thoughts. He had that conversation with Kieran McGeeney the day after they met in the round robin game and said, look, we'll see you in the final. That's the way it turned out. That's a brilliant ball. Well, it just ran away from Conor Turbitt. Just seemed to kick off the surface. The idea was superb.
Yeah, inches, Dara. In fairness, Armagh, what they're very good at is they're getting the kick-outs away short, but they're moving it through the middle third of the pitch very, very quickly, much quicker than Galway, and they're getting the opportunity to put the odd ball inside like they did with Turbitt there. Pass just slightly off.
So 10 points in the first 30 odd minutes of the All-Ireland final.
I suppose there's no huge surprise with this, Dara. This is, like, as we said, the type of game that we'd expect. You know, I've said it already, fear of repeating myself, very similar to that game in Sligo.
9 of them from play, by the way. Damien Comer. Comer lets it off to Paul Conroy. Started the scoring off with a brilliant point, and he's got another one. He's had to work hard to get into the game, doing loads of stuff off the ball. Galway 6, Armagh 5, 2 for Conroy.
When he gets in fire like that, he's exceptional, and he's such a smart player. He was aware that Sean Hurson was playing advantage as well, and it was a shot to nothing in effect, but straight over the bar. Great score, Conroy.
Pushing Connaughty in some space. Now it's about to get crowded. Keane Darcy was ahead of it. Tiernan Kelly. Joe McElroy of Armagh Harps. Paddy Burns, there you go. Ball up in the air.
This is the spine now. They'll all go into the spine. Rian O'Neill is out to give space inside as Silk is following him, and then they get the movement away as they did there.
Niall Grimley. Tiernan Kelly. Well, they've called for this set play, I suppose you'd call it. It's a rehearsed move. Oh, that's brilliant. Mark called. Joe McElroy.
Great ball from Rian O'Neill. They went out, they went in first of all, Darren, when it wasn't on straight away. They were smart enough to come back out, but great ball inside from Rian O'Neill. Lovely pass.
So the mark has been missed. So that's, and I know Galway have had their issues. The 2 frees from Walsh missed, but they're pretty straightforward. So was the earlier free, and that certainly was straightforward from Joe McElroy. You've called the mark there, you've got to kick it. Galway still lead.
He probably was in a situation where he could have even gone at his man, maybe.
So Galway get the short kick out away. Sean Mulcairn. Shane Walsh. We've seen him a lot this year drop out into deeper positions. Paul Conroy looking for Damien Comer and finding him. Then he's double teamed. McKay and Burns. And the ball is still in play. Or is it? No, he threw it.
Ball, yeah. He was trying to win either a sideline or a 45 off the Armagh boys, but they weren't buying it.
Andrew Murnan. Rory Grugan is actually the furthest forward at the moment, been picked up by Jack Glynn. This is a lovely run from Oisin Connaughty. He's been super in the first half. Connaughty hits the deck, and now it is a point for Armagh. Scored by Ben Creeley.
Yeah, second score from Creeley. Oisin Connaughty's having a huge effect in proceedings. Galway or Armagh are clever. They know that Sean Mulcairn is dropping in to help defensively, so they're actively getting Connaughty on the ball out of that side, and he's doing very well. Straight over the black spot from Ben Creeley.
Yeah.
This is 6th score in the championship, so good going for a midfielder, a big tall midfielder like he is.
Teams have been level 5 times now. Now here's some space for Sean Fitzgerald. Well, there was. Liam Silk, 1 added minute at the end of the first half. And Shane Walsh made a move out to give Paul Conroy an option, but he decided to hang on to the ball. Sean Mulcairn.
They're aware of the clock now as well, Darren. They'll be just trying to get the shot off just before the end of the minute, not to give Armagh a chance to attack up the other way again.
Dylan McHugh has had some really good moments in this first half. Jack Glynn from Clare Galway. Sean Mulcairn. McHugh again. So they've less than 20 seconds to get this shot away. They can see that scoreboard with the clock on it.
Yeah, he just glanced at the clock and he's probably given that bit of feedback. Here we go.
Now Sean Mulcairn drops it in. Tierney's in after it. Rory Grugan claims the loose ball. Good solid defending. Armagh were tested under the high ball, but they were up to the task. It's been as tight and as tactical as we expected. Paul Conroy kicked a couple of really lovely scores. Oisin Connaughty playing well for Armagh. This could go right down to the wire. At half-time, it's 6-all in the All-Ireland final between Armagh and Galway here in Croke Park in Dublin.
This has been tense. That's what happens when you're looking for your first All-Ireland, or your county's first All-Ireland, in over 2 decades as well. And it has been rather physical. It is all square at the half-time in the 2024 All-Ireland football final. Plenty, you would imagine, for both managers to work on. Here you go. Armagh 6 points, Galway 6 points. And all of the stats are relatively even, bar the possession stake, which is very much so in Galway's favour. Lee, what stood out for you in that first half?
Tense is definitely the right word. I think it's evident that nerves are playing a huge part. You take Conor Turbert's free, he pulled one of the best sharpshooters. Shane Welsh missed a relatively easy one for his standards. So the occasion is catching up on a few of them. overall, yes, it's been physical, it's been possession-based, particularly by Galway, and the lads will touch on the attack side of things, but it's probably everything that we probably assumed there was going to be, and there's absolutely nothing between at the moment. What's interesting is none of the forwards yet, inside forward lines, have caught fire, so it's become a real midfield dominant game.
Did Armagh attack the way you expected them to?
I think they caught Galway off guard. I think they started the game really, really quick. I think Galway liked tucking in their two wing-backs, Mulcairn and Dylan McHugh. They liked tucking them in. I think Armagh exposed that a couple of times early on. Connaughton got in for a couple of scores, but the football was crisp, it was sharp, it wasn't taking a play out of it. It was really quick, even off short kickouts, long kickouts. They're obviously trying to go forward as quick as they can, and I think Galway struggled early on. The first 7 or 8 minutes, they couldn't get a hands on them. But as that half went on, Joanne, I felt Galway did adapt. They did get hands on. They got more aggressive. Here we see Armagh coming now. It was a loose hand pass. But any mistake at all, they'll get pressure on it. And in fairness to Armagh, straight after this, they came up the pitch again. That space that was there in the first 10 minutes wasn't there at all after that. But still, they worked it across the field. This was after about 30 or 40 seconds trying to prod, and that was a huge score from Aidan Parker. And I suppose it is the key men, the Shane Walshes, the Comers, the Turbets, they're not having an effect on it. But the middle third players, the Falkers, the midfielders in particular, they're doing the damage. And that is because of the structures that they have in place.
Something Peter's going to touch on. All Armagh's score have been in the scoring zone versus Galway's. So they're getting their shots in better positions, where Galway are kind of stopping a bit more. And I know something you're going to touch on.
They're relying on long range scores.
Well, midfield, I mean, you keep bringing up the midfield, and it was something that you said before was going to have a massive influence.
Yeah, well, if you wanted a helter-skelter game like last weekend, we haven't got it. Very defensive. But a wee bit like Donegal, Galway, the battle of the midfield, because there's so much ball. Armagh have got 15 men back on most occasions, if not all. So the men out around the middle of the park become more important. And in that case, it was Paul Connery kicking a superb score from distance. On the other hand, the Armagh midfielders have scored 3 points from play as well. Ben Creeley's got 2, and Grimley's got 1. This one here, I think it's Creeley gets himself in a pocket of space. Again, there's plenty of Galway defenders back. The only difference, Galway are playing with 13 men back. They're trying to leave Comer or Walsh up front. In this case, again, I think it's Paul Connery. But look, it's so difficult to try and get the ball inside. Look at Comer in there on his own. So when you feed on you like Paul Connery, you're able to do that. So a wee bit, and there's when a ball is kicked in, it's impossible for that man to score from there. They end up turning this over and the ball's out. So the kicking the ball in, simply it hasn't been on, and there's been very little of it. And this is your other Armagh midfielder again, Ben Creeley, getting another score. So they're having a bigger role, bigger importance to the game, rather than the marquee men that Tomas talked about.
I think it is. If whoever is going to win it, they're going to need to get Turbot, they're going to need to get Shane Walsh, they're going to need to get I think a huge thing for Galway, that Finnerty injury rattled them. And you know, they had to put Matthew Tierney into the corner. He's not a corner forward. They had to bring in Johnny Heaney early, so it upset them. That's without starting with Sean Kelly. So Galway were rattled early on from that. Yet they've done very, very well. I just think it'll be something off the cuff. It's very structured. It's very, very organised. It's based on defence. It'll be something off the cuff that'll rattle either side.
Well, we'll await perhaps some helter-skelter for the second half, which is coming up very shortly.
Sharing in our victories, our clashes, and our triumphs is more important than ever. Your sports, your passion, powered by you. When you buy your TV license, you're buying more than a TV license. Get yours now at tvlicense.ie or any post office. Thank you.
Congratulations, Danny, you won the Euro Dreams. €20,000 every month for the next 30 years.
I've won €20,000.
Take that there. That's right, €20,000 every month for the next 30 years.
Euro Dreams from the National Lottery.
Draws Mondays and Thursdays.
To really get Gaelic football, you need to be of a certain type. Do you want to hear my response? This. All those can't compete like us looks. They're not from here talk. And not built like us excuses. Enough. Bring all the things that make you who you are.
With 99.9% reliability from Ireland's best broadband, you can keep playing without interruption. Virgin Media, it's playtime.
Don't worry, Bobby. You're gonna love it here. You know, one.
Bella.
Love energy efficient, quality built homes.
Hey, do you want to come out with us? Mum, I'm going out for a bit. Have fun.
Love where you live. Glenveigh, home of the new.
What brings us out for our county? Year after year after year. That stirs such passion in our hearts and makes the pride flow through our veins. It's our county. It's our people. It's in our blood.
I'm an All-Ireland winning footballer for Tyrone.
I've won 8 with Kilkenny.
I've 6 All-Ireland clubs.
I'm a double All-Star.
Me too.
I'm a gambling addict.
I'm a gambling addict.
Me too.
If you take 2 things from this ad,
know that you are not alone.
And there is help for you.
Harvey Norman, your home appliance specialists. Experience fast cooking with a crisp finish with the Siemens IQ700 built-in combi microwave oven for $1,699. Let your oven do the cleaning with the active clean function on the Siemens IQ700 built-in single oven, now $1,299. Or buy both for $2,998 and receive a €150 Harvey Norman gift card. With interest-free finance terms available and our best prices guaranteed. Why shop anywhere else? Harvey Norman, your home appliance specialists.
SuperValue believe in community. And community includes everyone.
Courtesy of RT Sport and Harris Maxis, one of Ireland's longest-standing automotive distributors and retailers, here's your chance to drive into summer in a brand new Maxis Mifa 9 worth €80,000. For your chance to win the car, answer this week's question. Which team won the GAA Hurling All-Ireland Senior Championship final last weekend? Was it Clare or Cork? To enter, call the number on screen or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57886. Maximum cost per entry is €2.50. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Tuesday, August 6th. Full details are on rt.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
Welcome back to Croke Park pitch side. It's very tense, it's very claustrophobic. Enda is here beside me. Enda, for a long period of time, the Seagull had the most room in Croke Park because everybody else was marked and double marked.
Yeah, absolutely, and unfortunately the game obviously was that sort of cagey nature that the Seagull nearly became a wee bit of a talking point, I noticed. But no, look, it's probably going how most people would have predicted, and the person happiest with that is Kieran McGeeney. I think the game is sort of going exactly how he would have liked, and he knows he's got that arsenal that he's turned to so often this year with such good effect in terms of the people coming off the bench.
Just watching both management teams, Pádraig Joyce is looking for the quick transfer of hands for his attack. Every time Armagh out of possession, Kieran Donnelly is up saying slots, everybody's back in place so far. Where will the breakthrough come in there?
Look, for Armagh, they'll be hoping to punch holes whenever them men come off the bench, but they'll be happy. They were patient, they've worked it well. They're getting up the pitch very fast off their kickouts, which is something Galway is sort of in a half press. They're sort of going 3-on-3 in terms of the full forward line, but it's sort of like a zonal. They're not trapping Armagh in, and Armagh's getting up the pitch there with relatively good pace and getting shots away from that. So that's something I think Galway will look at. On the flip side, I think Galway, having lost Rob Finnerty's a big miss there. He's their top scorer, probably main creator too. A lot of chat before the game. Can they get more out of Comer and Walsh? Both have been quiet in that first half. So unless them men kick into gear, I think Galway are in a bit of bother.
Thanks for your time, and back to you, Joanne and panel.
They may be in a little bit of bother, but they do have one man you were all raving about in that first half.
Yeah, if Galway are going to win it, they'll be taking this man for his contribution so far. Johnny Maher has been absolutely brilliant in this half, and he's been brilliant all year, John, to be honest. Like, his work rate is through the roof. Here it was a brilliant move by Armagh again. Grimley gets onto his left foot, and this is just a brilliant block. Throws his body on the line, up again, and it's a turnover, and just diffuses the danger. Look at this, brilliant. Superman stuff. And that's summed up his half so far. And then we move into the next step again. On the kick out here, wins the breaking ball, steps inside, should get a free initially, but keeps going, drive through the hard Armagh defence. It's his run here, it's constant. Gets the ball back here again, pops it to Cian Darcy, who comes off the shoulder, takes a big hit and gives it well, and over the bar again. So he's been creating, he's been defending, and this has probably been a part of his game that I've really loved, is watch him just drive in the centre here now, takes his man on and over the bar. Coincidentally enough, he's been brilliant for Galway. Equally, Oisin Conti's been absolutely brilliant for Armagh. He's had 2 points and he's been heavily involved in a lot. They've done well. So, two guys who are at the top of their game at the moment.
We keep talking about this bench. There are no changes for the start of the second half. How soon do you think we'll
I'm a bit surprised at that, to be honest. The game's waiting on Stephen Campbell or Soupy Campbell to come in. Armagh, I think, need that. Maybe Kieran's thinking, Conade and these other men are playing well enough and they'll leave it. Maybe he's thinking of extra time as well. You don't know. But the decisions that is going to decide this game is with McGeaney and Joyce now, because Joyce is big coach, because Sean Kelly fit. If he is, when is he going to be used? Culnan, when is he going to come off the bench? Armagh haven't just Soupy Campbell. Ross McQuillan's going to figure. Oisin O'Neill's
had a little word with the boss there.
Figure. Charlie O is going to figure. Question is when. The impact when he brings him on is going to have a massive bearing. But I agree with Anda. I'd say McGeaney would be happier if the two men at the minute.
Very quick word, Tomas.
Yeah, I think advantage Armagh, because I think Heaney, Darcy in so early is a huge loss. It'll all depend on what Galway do with Armagh's bench, if they can quell it, but they need Comer and Walsh to step up the other side.
Okay, their markers have got on the scoreboard, but they haven't so far. Let's head back for the second half with Eamon and Dara.
Joanne, thanks very much indeed. Yeah, a little bit of surprise, echoing what was said in studio, that Soupy Campbell isn't on for the start of the second half, but we will see him soon, no doubt. Game is on. We start again, 6 each. And we knew it was going to be tight between these two. This rivalry between them since 2022 is very intense. Here's Cian Darcy. It's got kind of dark in Croke Park. The pictures you're seeing will make it look a little bit brighter. Wind isn't a huge issue. Actually, it's very little wind at all. Sean Fitzgerald, as the second half kind of mirrors the start of the first, with Armagh just sitting back and saying to Galway, okay, if you can get a shot away, fair play to you, but we're not going to make it at all easy. Dylan McHugh. Jacqueline. Matthew Tierney, more focus on him in the second half, with Finnerty gone off. Tierney, somehow he still held onto the ball. The Armagh defenders just kind of rocked back on their heels nearly and let him have it. Johnny McGrath, Paul Conroy going for a hat-trick of spectacular points. Two brilliant ones in the first half, and there's one right at the start of the second.
Outstanding. Matthew Tierney did well in the first place because he sucked so many bodies towards him. Darragh opened up that pocket for Conroy. Said it after he kicked that first monster, that when he has a day like that and he's on, he's capable of kicking 4 or 5 points. Brilliant from midfield. Peter mentioned it at half-time, because of the chance they have of getting on the ball so much, they can really influence it.
Aidan Forker scored 1 point in the first half. Blaine Hughes. Paddy Burns. Joe McElroy. Oisin Connaughty had a lot of big, important moments for Armagh in the first half. That's Aidan Falker with the ball through. Slick hands again. Conor Turbot bottled up. Ball almost turned over. Now it is Johnny Heaney for Galway. Big turnover for them, and here they come with Killian McDade. Pace to burn. So is Dylan McHugh. Liam Silk has got ahead of the ball. A surge forward from Galway. And the shot from Killian McDade at the end of it, all from the turnover. They've nailed it.
Massive score, Dara. Brilliant turnover far up the field. Turbot initially, then Paddy Burns broke at pace, had numbers. Killian McDade involved, Dylan McHugh involved, as he typically is in anything good that Galway are doing. Great score. They have a bit of momentum at the moment.
2-point lead. The advantage for either team, well, it's been Galway who had hit 2 points before, went 2 clear before. It's never been beyond 2. Oisin Connaughty for Armagh. Incredible pace from the young man. Connaughty through, and there's a hat-trick of points for him. He's been brilliant, and he's not done yet.
Outstanding. We mentioned it, that he did something similar against Roscommon. When half-backs are cheating in off half-forwards, it's so important to get them on the ball and hurt them. At this stage in Galway, Padraig Joyce, Cian O'Neill, Concannon, they're having a discussion. What are they going to do with him? They're going to have to get hands on Connaughty. He's having such an influence.
The 2-point lead didn't last long, did it?
No.
John Marr. Killian McDade goes direct. It's over the head of Shane Walsh. He overdid that. Blaine Hughes stayed calm. I was surprised how far forward McDade hit that. He just put up the hand of apology.
Yeah, Shane Welch was a bit frustrated as well, but it was 1-on-1 inside, so it is no harm to try the odd one of those.
So as Galway do, while Armagh are attacking, Damien Comer and Shane Walsh have been left up front. Comer is now walking towards halfway. And now trotting towards halfway. There he is. Shane Connaughty. Aaron McKay has moved forward. Joe McElroy adds some pace to the attack. Tiernan Kelly, Rory Grugan. Well, they're picking their way through. Rian O'Neill, will it draw back? It absolutely does draw back. Another punch of the air from the cross-middle end man. Beautiful score. He never scores an ordinary point.
Outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Straight in our line, Dara. He drew it in beautifully. What a score, an inspirational score. Armagh got some of those inspirational points. It's interesting though, it takes them going the couple of points behind for us to see the better of them. You'd like for them now to push on when they've got level.
Galway warming up a couple of subs, and Armagh are going to bring Stephen Soupy Campbell in now, or when the ball next goes dead. There'll be a massive roar from the Armagh supporters when Campbell comes onto the field. Dylan McHugh for Galway. John Marr. Sidestep had to go back to Paul Conroy. Rory Grugan is receiving treatment at the moment as Galway attack. Johnny Heaney involved. Matthew Tierney. Johnny McGrath. Now it's Liam Silk. And the shot from Shane Walsh. Oh, yes, that is what he can do. I know he's had issues with frees. They haven't been able to get him the ball. But when they get it to him, chances are this happens.
That's outrageous, Dara. Unbelievable. He was frustrated with the last ball when Killian McDade put it in, went over his head, and it's almost like he made a decision. Next time I get it, I'm going to make something happen. Outstanding score, Shane Welch.
Just wondering who is going to go off the Armagh team. Rory Grugan is in at full forward. He had the treatment. Seems to be happy enough to continue. Oisin Connaughty.
He got a little knock in the knee. I'd say it'll take more than that to take him out of it today.
Now here come Armagh. This is Paddy Burns, the cornerback. And the shot from Tiernan Kelly. Good point. 9-0.
Yeah, good from Paddy Burns. He's good at getting forward into that position. Connaughty involved in the pass inside again. He really is having a pivotal role and everything good for Armagh.
Armagh are going to hold off on the substitution. Stephen Campbell has just put the warm-up bib back on. So if it was Rory Grugan who was going to be called ashore, they're going to wait. Jack Glynn, teams level 7 times. Keane Darcy, Damien Comer loves that end line. He's got it through to Darcy, and Darcy, that's gone wide. He's out wide. They almost got in around the back for the first time.
Yeah, huge contact from Mackin. He just stood up strong. Keane Darcy rode a brilliant tackle in the first half to kick his point, but he wasn't able to withstand the challenge there with defending Mackin. Armagh do have that one up now there as well when they're attacking. They're getting Murnan up the field that bit quicker, and it gives them the shape inside.
He's gone in full forward, been marked by Sean Fitzgerald.
Ball's going over the head here now. They're going to go into that spinal one.
That sounds painful, but anyway.
The spinal attacking formation, so
we'll put
it that way, Dara. Yeah. So in the first half they got the mark out of it eventually that McIlroy missed. We'll see, do they get something out of it this time. We see them all lined up here now.
I think Ross McQuillan could be coming in. Campbell may be on as well. Here's Barry McCambridge. Tiernan Kelly, fresh from his equalising point. Aidan Falker was standing still, and they surrounded him, and they turned the ball over. And Galway got a chance to counter quickly. A surge forward with Shane Walsh.
Danger.
Brilliant in the final 2 years ago. Here's Matthew Tierney.
Homer's on.
Liam Silk there. And Tierney managed to keep that alive. Liam Silk hits the deck. They're going to get a free out of this. They haven't heard the whistle. Sean Horson clearly blew the whistle.
What outstanding scramble defence from Armagh, Dara. The hand pass, this hand pass just didn't go to the target. Oh, great block, whoever that was for Armagh. Paddy Burns, he did brilliant to intercept Matthew Tierney's initial hand pass, because if he got it to Liam Silk, Comer was completely free inside in his own.
Look at this, Sean Kelly is coming in for Jack Glynn. They decided not to start it. And there's the Galway roar as their captain, one of their huge leaders, comes on. Sean Kelly from Mike Cullen. So still Armagh, well, now they're going to make their changes with Campbell and McQuillan. And here's Shane Walsh, free off his left. And Walsh has got that one. Kept it low. Tried to take the element of risk out of it.
Yeah, great courage for him to go at it with his left again, Dara. Brilliant kick.
Soupy's on. This fella's had some year. Conor Turbert is the player to make way. Their top scorer this year. Ross McQuillan for Tiernan Kelly. Here's Conor Mackin for Armagh. Still the three Kierans, the Armagh management team, deep in conversation. Right down the middle, it's Oisin Connaughty. They're not going to be taking him off anytime soon, unless he's injured, and he's not. McQuillan is into the action straight away. Rian O'Neill. Conor Mackin. Andrew Murnan is in on top, or pretty close to Conor Gleeson. Aidan Falker.
Sean Kelly's picked up Rory Grugan there. I thought there might be some bit of a rejig, you know, that he's been playing out around the middle of the field so much, but he's inside in the one-on-one battle there.
Ben Creeley involved, and here's Soupy into the action straight away. Brilliant pace. Campbell, goal! Armagh goal! And it's Aaron McKay! How decisive will that moment be? Campbell with the assist. He's only on the field about 20 seconds.
He broke out from the spine. He was inside there. Was he trying to fist it over the bar? Was it a pass, Sarah? We'll give him the credit. He looked like he was looking at the post. He put it across. Aaron McKay was running in there. Great goal. Armagh tend to go mad for a few minutes after scoring goals. Their supporters are going mad. We'll see now, can Galway take some of the momentum back off them?
Well, they've got the ball off them. Aaron McKay.
Talk about an instant reaction from Stephen Campbell.
Oisin McConville got their goal in the 2002 final. The only time they've won the All-Ireland senior title. They talk about these finals and appearances in them, and this is only their 5th coming around. It's a 20-odd year thing. Well, they've had to wait since 2003 to get back into the final. But there's still an awful long way to go. Galway find themselves trailing thanks to that man.
Be interesting to see an angle from behind the goals eventually, Dara, to see where was Stephen Campbell
Matthew
looking.
Tierney. Oh, Tierney had to take that on his right. May still work out for them. That could bounce anywhere, but it's worked out for Armagh. And listen to the roar again. Ben Creeley. They surge out with Niall Grimley. John Marr did well just to stop the pace of the attack, and he's turned the ball over. No, illegally though. The referee blew the whistle. You can't even hear yourself think now.
It emphasises his bananas work rate. He put in the first huge hit there. He went after the ball, and that was the second time. Looked harsh enough now in the replay. One of the Armagh lads is getting treatment in front of the Hill goal as well.
Aidan Falker is beckoning to his teammates again. Let's all get over this side. By the way, the Armagh total 1-9, all from play.
They're loading up that side of the pitch, and they're leaving Ross McQuillan over here in front of us, Dara, which is a clever ply that they'll hope to get the ball eventually to him, and that he'll use his pace to go at his man.
Armagh going to use the bench again. Oisin O'Neill. So the next score after that goal feels like it's going to be real important in a match of this importance. That treatment is still going on, so they're playing with 14, and now the referee has decided, right, let's just find out what's going on.
So one of the midfielders, is this
no, it's Rory Grugan, and remember he's going to have to come off. Yeah, that's what Aaron McKay thinks anyway. But this was the jump in the air. But Rory did receive treatment about 10 minutes ago. And that's obviously the reason why he's struggling. Let's have a look at the goal. Aaron McKay.
It's a great shot now. Yeah, I think he was definitely looking at the post there. But them are the breaks in an All-Ireland final day, especially a goal is such a huge score. Aaron McKay, massive credit, ran straight at the black spot, and the ball came across him and he finished it.
The stretcher is out. So I don't know if the stretcher is actually going to be needed, or is it? Well, have a look at it from behind the goal. No issue about square ball. I don't think there was anyway, but just to put your mind at ease. So now, Oisin O'Neill.
We're saying of what an impact from Stephen Campbell straight away, Darren. It initially came out of being inside narrow and breaking out into the space, and then having the pace and the strength to go past his man. He's brilliant at that.
So there, Kieran McKeever and Kieran McGeeney deep in conversation, and Pádraig Joyce has some issues to deal with. I just spotted Cian O'Neill, his coach, just gesturing to the players just to lift it again. This stoppage, if anything, it would be more advantageous for Armagh, as now Jarlath Charlie O'Byrne comes in. They've had such impact off the bench, and well, his dad has some duties to perform later. But who will he be giving the cup to? And Rory Grugan Well, you want the best players on the field all the time, don't you? Particularly on a day like today. And he's had a stunning year, and we just hope that the injury isn't too bad.
It was some kind of a knee injury. Maura Rahilly was on earlier on treating it, and on there again, so obviously he couldn't run it off. He wanted to run it off. Shame to see that. The two number 13s on the big day going off with a knee injury. Armagh again look like they've something set up here, Dara. They're gone into that narrow formation again. Rian O'Neill is on the ball. He'll probably play a 1-2 and look to deliver one of those booming kicks then.
Both wings, because Galway are gone man-to-man. Both wings, there's a lot of space either side, and this has gone right down the middle from Rian O'Neill. And now a bit of chaos. Sean Fitzgerald, there was a push on Andrew Murnan. The left hand was the issue. So who's going to kick the free?
I'd expect Rian O'Neill nearly to have a go from there now, Dara. It's funny, it was real old-fashioned up and under from Rian O'Neill, and it does cause a bit of chaos. Players are so unused to dealing with it anymore in any part of the pitch.
So it is Rian to kick this free. The distance won't be a problem for him.
He was absolutely nailing them beforehand, so you'd fancy him.
So on its way to grow the lead. He didn't make great contact with that, just hooked it. It's a bit of a let off for Galway, and now they want to get going, get the pace up. Gleeson will belt the leather off this. It's probably not leather on anymore, it's some form of plastic coating the ball. So this is a bit slow. Now that's what Armagh want to do to Conor Gleeson. Just put some doubt in the mind. Keane Darcy brilliant in the air, two around him, what a catch, and he's got the free as well. Galway need to get players forward, they go backwards. Liam Silk, Paul Conroy. 55th minute, Shane Walsh. Unusual today for Galway to find themselves chasing the game. The goal was in the 47th minute. We haven't had a score. We did have a lengthy stoppage from either team since then. Sean Mulcairn for Galway. Damien Comer. Johnny McGrath. Sean Fitzgerald. McGrath again. Conroy. John Maher, there is space if he wants to go forward. Kind of went sideways, but wanted to bring Dylan McHugh in. Here he goes, he's surrounded. Sean Kelly involved. Keane Darcy gets the shot away for Galway. That's the next score after the goal, and they're back to within a point. Important for them.
Yeah, second score for Keane Darcy, but again, Dylan McHugh, the way he runs in from the side, punched the hole to Sean Kelly, out to Keane Darcy, over the bar, 1 point game.
Last 15 minutes. Oisin Connaughty. It's Oisin O'Neill. Aaron McKay, the goal scorer. Joe McElroy.
Ross McQuillan is in this slot out in front of us again, Dara, to try and get him in one-on-one situations to see if he can go at his man. It's Keane Darcy that's tracking him, and it'll probably be a small bit of a mismatch pace-wise there.
It's actually a different shape to the way Armagh are attacking. They left the area in front of the D free, and they've gone with width on both sides. Oisin Connaughty. Oisin O'Neill. The ball turned over. Big moment for the Galway defence. Look at Sean Kelly bursting forward. Now it's Johnny Heaney, he's got pace, he'll run all day. Liam Silk is in a great position. John Maher spotted it. Liam Silk for Galway. They're a point behind. There's Shane Walsh, oh my words. He's missed it by a mile. Silk should have backed himself, I know, easy to say from up here, but he could have taken this on himself. This was the turnover that led to nothing for Galway.
They've been excellent in that period of the field, forcing those turnovers, but they haven't got the joy off them that they probably should be. As you said, Liam Silk probably could have pulled the trigger slightly earlier in the move there.
But that's the chaos that follows a turnover when a team is well up the field.
And to be fair, if Shane Welch is lurking outside you, you're going to hand him the ball, because most times he will kick it over the bar.
And the next chance he gets, well, all Galway fans will be hoping that he does. Next chance he gets, you would expect him to score. Ross McQuillan involved. Niall Grimley. Andrew Murnan, Conor Mackin. Armagh haven't scored since the 47th minute, since they got their goal. Oisin O'Neill. You want to keep going forward. There's a mistake by Soupy Campbell. Here's another break forward. Galway need to commit numbers to this. Johnny McGrath, he's been held up by Stephen Campbell and fouled. But Campbell happy to give away the free over there because it stops the momentum in the attack.
Yeah, exactly. Charlie O'Burns is coming on as well shortly. It's getting physical now, Dara.
Yeah, so the ball has moved forward. An Armagh player hit the deck, but Sean Hurson, the referee, not interested at all. So that's on the 45-metre line, and I wonder, is Conor Gleeson going to come forward and try and kick this? No, he's going to leave it to Shane Walsh, who's gone off his left again. There is a gentle breeze. He's gone sideways to Liam Silk. Sean Mulcairn is to his left. So they're backing themselves to try and pick a way through. And they're backing Keane Darcy. Darcy has been super, but I think he's pulled that one wide. Let's see the signal.
They're going to go
Hawkeye. They actually haven't made the signal.
No.
The umpires are meant to draw out the TV or whatever, but they didn't do it.
From our
the referee has done it.
Yeah, from my perspective, it looked wide, Dara.
Yeah, it's not even close. That's a bit of a let-off. So Conor Mackin going off. Charlie O'Burns is coming in. Part of this Armagh bench press that's been so effective. I'm not sure if he's expecting that welcome to the game he got from Conor Mackin.
Man-and-man press from Galway here now.
They have most things covered, Galway, so Hughes has to do that. And Rian O'Neill just seemed to jump into his opponent. Sean Mulcairn went down on the ground. Armagh have won their own kick-out, though. Ross McQuillan launches it in. Plenty of Galway defenders back there, and one of them is Sean Fitzgerald. They did well with that. And the referee, now there's been a collision, an innocent collision off the ball, just to coming together. And the referee, because one of the players is down clutching his head, has to stop the game, just to be sure.
Yeah, there was an
everybody's
accidental collision. Sean Mulcairn and Ross McQuillan, as they were running for the ball, they came across each other awkwardly. Galway bench were furious because they had the turnover and they were ready to go on a counter-attack, but you'd see it here. It was just...
Yeah, look, that's it was just an accident of one of those things. But don't tell Ross McQuillan that because he's hurt, but anyway, he's all right, thankfully. I wonder, is there a worry about Shane Walsh's fitness? They can't afford to lose any more of their frontliners.
Yeah, Tom O'Culhan has gone for a gallop down there, getting ready in case he's needed.
Inside the last 10 minutes of the 2024 All-Ireland Senior Football Final. Sean Kelly. They know all about this day from 2 years ago, but it ended in heartbreak as they lost to Kerry. Armagh haven't been back here, or haven't been here since 2003. They were beaten that day too. Now Shane Walsh has backed himself. This is a long way out. I don't know if that's an indication of the Galway mindset that we're just not going to be able to pick our way through Armagh, where they're set up with everybody behind the ball. The whistle's not welcome. Walsh won't hear them though. Off the right boot, Shane Walsh for Galway, and he's dropped it short. Caught by Blaine Hughes. Another scoring opportunity goes. And they're still behind. And Armagh haven't scored since the 47th minute. And that is Niall Grimley. He was the furthest forward. Grimley for Armagh on its way. And Grimley off the post. It's a point. It's a point for Armagh. They had to wait a long time to get their next score after the goal, but that was worth the wait. They lead by 2 again.
Inspirational, great ball forward from Oisin O'Neill. I think Sean Hurston was playing an advantage. Grimley knew that. Brilliant finish from him.
And a big turnaround and a swing there as Walsh dropped his short. Grimley scores. It's a 2-point game again for Armagh. Dylan McHugh, Matthew Tierney. So many big players, huge talents in this Galway attack. They haven't been allowed to fire. Sean Fitzgerald, but they still can. And here's one of their powerhouses, Killian McDade. Shane Walsh, good hands, really good hands, and McDade's in around the back. McDade will get the shot away quickly. Killian McDade, that's wide. And I think that's well wide too. Difficult to tell from up here the perspective. No point, another scoring chance wasted.
Yeah. Great hands from Shane Welsh. The attention was drawn to him. Armagh kicking again.
They're belting it long. Ross McQuillan on the end of this, but Silk is there for Galway. And Sean Fitzgerald tidies up. Ross McQuillan won't let him out easily. Conor Gleeson.
Yeah, we talked about something different, Dara, for an All-Ireland final against two very evenly matched teams. One of the things that Armagh are doing late on, almost soccer style, kicking into that space over the top and getting players to run onto it.
John Marr. Sean Mulcairn. And bearing in mind the stoppage there was for the treatment for Rory Grugan, there'll be a fair clump of additional time at the end of the 70.
Yeah, you'd expect 5 or 6, yeah.
So add that on to what you see on your screen, and we're a long way from being done. Sean Mulcairn. Liam Silk got ahead of him. Paul Conroy. Sean Kelly. Kelly didn't want to shoot. Dylan McHugh. Again, the referee has to get out of the way. Dylan McHugh. That just is the first poor decision he's made all day, maybe all year.
I was going to say all year. Patrick Joyce is just telling them now to calm down, calm down. There's a small air of panic about Galway at the moment, as you said. There's a long time to go, yes. Just keep it calm, keep trying to do the right things, keep making the right decisions. They're the kings of patience. They need patience against this Armagh defence.
Stephen Campbell. We wonder about teams as well, how they deal with the history. Armagh have had in recent years so much heartbreak, those penalty shootout defeats. Remember the one against Galway in 22? It's kind of the start of the rivalry between these two teams. They lost 4-1 in the quarter-final. Look at the space for Charlie O'Byrnes. Galway need to engage it. Sean Mulcairn kind of does. Ball moved out wide. Oisin O'Neill. And O'Neill has scored. It's an incredible point from Oisin O'Neill. A goal between them.
Inspirational. He knows that spot of the pitch well, Dara. He did a few pops from there against Kerry in the semi-final. Didn't quite get them. Brilliant score from Oisin O'Neill. Great player. Tom O'Culhan on
for Damien Comer. And they're also bringing Daniel O'Flaherty in. So he'll bring a lot of pace to Galway. Culhan, a lot of trickery and a real threat around the goal, around the post.
Armagh giving up the kick out now, Dara. They've retreated into their shell.
Matthew Tierney going off, so that's 2 Saltill, not McCarroll lads on for Galway. They are a goal behind. They haven't scored since the 55th minute. They've had long passages of play in this All-Ireland final where they haven't raised a white flag. Armagh's goal, but that is the only goal chance I can remember. I can't remember Galway getting one or creating one. They may need one now to try and get in close to Blaine Hughes. They've kept something like 14 clean sheets out of 16 in league and championship. Shane Walsh, Damien Comer has gone off. Dylan McHugh. Killian McDade. Johnny McGrath. Johnny Heaney. Galway started this match with 12 of the team that began the 22 quarter-final against Armagh. Armagh only had 5 of their starting team in the All-Ireland final starting team today. It's a free into Galway, but Armagh will be happy enough to give away frees out in those kind of areas.
Yeah, and they're coming out and they're engaging them, even though they're ahead in the scoreboard. They're still not completely sitting back into their shell. They're still in their defensive slots. They're still defending with massive discipline in terms of their shape, but they're not allowing the Galway boys comfort on the ball either.
14 points is the average total that Galway have been conceding and have conceded across their matches this year. Daniel O'Flaherty involved, Dylan McHugh. Armagh just sitting everybody back, and it's up to Galway to find a way. Sean Mulkerran. Shane Walsh normally finds the way. Killian McDade trying to pick his way through. Paul Conroy. Sean Fitzgerald. This really demanding on the fitness levels and the concentration levels of both teams. Dylan McHugh. Johnny Heaney involved. Paul Conroy. Liam Silk. Keane Darcy. Darcy with the point for Galway. So that's their first in 13 minutes. 2 behind.
That's a brilliant score, Dara, because he'd had the miss earlier. He backed himself, he went on his left foot, he kicked a great score, his 3rd point from the middle of the field. They're well pressed up now.
Pádraig Joyce wants patience. Blaine Hughes will have to kick this long. And it's just a battle in the middle. Maher goes up after it. That was enough. Here come Galway again. They won't panic. Paul Conroy. Keane Darcy once more. Killian McDade. McDade for Galway was brilliant in the last quarter of the All-Ireland final 2 years ago, and he's coming to the fore now. 2 in a row. They're just 1 back.
Almost a carbon copy of the equaliser he kicked in 2022, Dara, into those goals. Fantastic score, inspirational. Both teams are starting to seize up a small bit. Couple of fellas stretching, cramp coming into play. 1 point game, we knew it would come down to this.
And Hughes has to go long again. And Galway will fancy their chances here. And Paul Conroy, the 35-year-old, drives forward. Foul. The momentum is with them, but can they get level? Killian McDade caught by Aaron McKay. So McDade goes down. He's been caught in the head, I think. And there's going to be a yellow card for Aaron McKay. Here it is. This is going to be a huge kick for Shane Walsh.
Conroy has been inspirational in this phase of the game, Dara. When Galway really needed someone to stand up, he's getting on ball, he's forcing the conversation, he's caught kickouts.
Yeah, yellow for Aaron McKay. So now, well, Shane Walsh, the ball is, I wonder, is he going to kick it off the ground? No, it was on the ground. He's got it back under his left arm. Kieran McGeaney just seeking some clarification from the linesman. I don't know about what. 6 minutes.
Galway have got good joy from pressing the kick out, the last couple of kick-outs now, Dara. Will they stay committed to the press?
So, look, there's still time for an awful lot of stuff to happen in this game. But Galway have got 2 in a row. This is to level it up for the 8th time from Shane Walsh. Hasn't caught it. He hasn't caught it, and it's been caught underneath the post by Charlie O'Burns. Armagh still lead, and that's a free out.
He was on the verge of over-carrying it, I'd say, when right at the end the foul happened.
Okay.
Shane Walsh is going to be disgusted with himself. Normally he's just so reliable from those frees.
Well, there have been a few of them, and it is an issue. Rob Finnerty, their free taker, went up early in the first half. Here come Armagh with Burns, and now it's to Ross McQuillan. They want to make another substitution, Armagh. Charlie O'Burns, Oisin Connaughty. Brilliant in the first half. Joe McElroy. And Galway backing off him. Johnny Heaney. Soupy Campbell. Campbell on its way. Off his right boot. He doesn't like that. That's because it's wide. Armagh still lead though, and they can press Galway here. Although Galway have got the short one away.
Yeah, they're giving it up. They're going back into shape. Galway weren't as organised defensively that time, naturally enough, as they're trying to chase the game now.
Here comes Daniel O'Flaherty. There's that pace I was talking about. Johnny Heaney, John Marr and Paul Conroy. 4 minutes of added time to go.
Damien Comer and Matthew Tierney gone off. Galway don't have huge depth inside now there. They've improved it there. Before that they were squashed in together, but they have a bit of depth now again in their attack.
Shane Walsh is looking for options, but you know what, maybe he deceived everybody, including me, although that wouldn't be hard. Brilliant block down. It's a line ball off Niall Grimley. The tension is absolutely ridiculous.
They're fighting for every ball as if their lives depend on it now at the moment.
Killian McDade. They know what it feels like to lose an All-Ireland final. Dylan McHugh.
Kieran Malloy ready to come for Galway now as well, Dara.
Sean Kelly. Johnny McGrath. Just over 3 minutes left.
This is one of these, again, long passages of possession play that Galway are generally very comfortable with. Yeah. Dylan McHugh is usually the man to punch the hole and make that last pass.
Well, here he is. Liam Silk is there beside him. Armagh passing players on, marking up who they've decided to mark, but just trying to cover the spaces as best they can. Johnny Heaney.
Both teams in different ways, absolutely committed to their systems, trusting their systems. In the last couple of minutes of an All-Ireland final, training they would have done all the way during the year. It's down to this.
The 64th game of the championship, and there's just a point between the two finalists. This novel pairing. Conroy goes down and Conroy is hurt. He was caught by Creeley. Now Conor Gleeson. Wonder if Galway can force a free. Will they let Gleeson kick it? Depending on how far out from the post it is. John Marr involved. 2 minutes left. They've had the ball. It feels like a long time, but where's the shot? Where's the equaliser for them going to come from? Paul Conroy. And now Dylan McHugh. Could be footballer of the year. McHugh for Galway. Off the outside of the post. Are they going to get a better chance than that? Armagh still lead by a point.
He backed himself, he went outside to the right, just the wrong side of the post, clipped off the outside of the post. Great shot from Dylan McHugh. Normally he's given the pass, that time he took the shot. They're pressed up again, obviously, as you would expect them to be. This kick out is huge.
It is massive. Kieran Malloy is coming in for Johnny Heaney.
He needs to get his man now, he needs to get to wherever he's supposed to be.
There's a yellow card for Ben Creeley as well. And also coming on is Jason Duffy, so this is getting a bit messy. The captain, Aidan Forker, is going off. So this kick out, well, this is the All-Ireland final. This is the Sam Maguire in the last minute.
It's it, Darren.
Who wins the ball?
With all the tactics and with everything else that goes into it, looks like it's going to be a long kick out, and who's going to win it or win the breaking ball? Conor Gleeson competing.
Gleeson is up after it, and Gleeson did what he did in the Connacht final. Remember that? When he won the kick out. Here come Galway. Malloy, Johnny McGrath. They're desperate for an equaliser. Killian McDade. Momentum and pace has gone out of the attack, and McDade has lost the ball. 30 seconds to go. Armagh have won one All-Ireland title in their history. In 2002, they lost the final in 03. This could seal it. Have a look at the clock in the corner of the screen. Here's the opportunity, and that's come off the post as well. Unbelievable. Sean Mulcairn picks up the ball. They may not need any more time, but here come Galway. They have seconds. The 6 minutes are done. Armagh should have wrapped it up down there. Here's Cian Darcy. Unbelievable run forward from Darcy. He needs help. Darcy still going. Can he get it free? Here's Paul Conroy blocked down. Unbelievable. Incredible. Remarkable. Brilliant defending. The referee is letting play continue. Here they come again. Rian O'Neill. O'Neill, that's a bit short. Here's Charlie O'Burns. His dad is the president of the GAA, and he'll be presenting the trophy to one of his county men for the second time in their history. Armagh are All-Ireland senior champions. What an incredible finish to the game. Drama upon drama. But Kieran McGeeney captained his team to their only All-Ireland title, and after 10 years in charge, now he's managed his team to their second. Heartbreak for Dylan McHugh and Galway, who hit the post so close to it. But it's Armagh's day, and they may never go home. Well, they will go home tonight, but they'll celebrate this for weeks and weeks and weeks. What a day, what a game, and what a victory. Armagh 1-11, Galway 13 points.
2003 there, when they lost the All-Ireland final, it was a brilliant block down by Conor Gormley at the end. Today it was Joe McElroy that made that inspirational block on Paul Conroy. What a win for Armagh.
That is just incredible. And Charlie O'Byrne has the match ball, and that's going to head home with him. But 10 years of doing this, there's the block.
The story of frees there, 1-11 for all from play for Armagh, and Galway had those frees that they missed. There's that inspirational block down.
What an incredible finish to the match.
The number right that time, Dara.
Yeah. Just get it right at the end, that's all that matters. But these are incredible moments for Armagh, for all of those players, for all of those supporters. And this is going to be interesting, isn't it? His duties coming up now. But first and foremost, he's an Armagh man, Conleth Gilligan, part of the backroom team. And there is a wonderful moment and an emotional moment. Tears in both of their eyes.
He's made some good spiffs already, handing over cups, Sarah. This one will be worth listening to.
Let's hear from Damien, who's got Rian O'Neill with him.
Rian, All-Ireland champion. How did you get over the line in that game? So tense.
Oh my God. Oh, I don't know what to say there. That was one of the toughest games I've ever played in my life, but we'll never die. We've shown that 4 years. We keep coming back, and today we done it.
It was the level at half time. There wasn't an inch to be found anywhere all over the field. Galway came back at you. Just in terms of, you kept to the structure, you kept to the plan. How much work does that take, Rian?
Oh, listen, we knew the boys coming in off the bench. We knew. Yeah, I know what to say.
I suppose to speak from the heart, maybe, because you've had tough days. You know, you had to work very, very hard. You had heartbreaking defeats, penalty shootouts, all that sort of stuff. Did that form your character as you went along?
Absolutely did. Them things stand by, you know, even during the week there, me, Oisín and Callum and Uncle of ours passed away, you know, and the Susan, Amy, Nessa and Killian at home, Paul could be looking down today, happy man.
And sympathies to your entire family. Before I let you back to your teammates, the three Kierans and all the guys on the sideline that have stuck with you for so long, what do you got to say about them?
What I have to say about us, dead us now, come on!
Off you go, Rian. And I'm joined by Rory as well. Rory Grugan, you've seen it all with Armagh. Can you put into words what this means to you right now?
It's amazing. It's 10 years of work for so many people, and just to see everyone here and the elation there at the end, boys coming off the bench again to win it for us. Oh, I just can't put it into words.
Rory, everybody knew about your potential from an early stage. Just for the last few years playing this Armagh team, just to keep the show on the road. Everybody said you weren't adventurous enough. Everybody said you were too conservative. You're here now, you're All-Ireland champions. What were the key characteristics that you guys leaned on over the last few years to drown out the noise outside?
Just the trust in what we're doing, the trust in the management, the resilience we built from the tough defeats and penalties, and never say die attitude. We kept coming back. When it was easy to walk away, it was easy to throw in the towel when we had so many tough defeats. But we believed in what we were doing, and it's all worth it today.
What kept you going, Rory? Was it the management? Was it your teammates? Was it the fact of the players, the quality of players that you had? You always knew this day would come.
A bit of all of it. You always knew that we were thereabouts. And even though we'd lost some tough games, we felt like we were at a standard that was close to the top, and we just weren't getting the small break of the ball. And we probably rode our luck there at times. You have to get things out to go for you. A ball coming off the post, a diving block. You know, finally luck shining on us.
Go enjoy, Rory.
I will.
I have no doubt he will. So we celebrated the Meath winning team of 1999 a little bit earlier on here in Croke Park. That same year, 25 years ago, Armagh broke another duck when they won their first Ulster title in 17 years. Jarlath Burns, the man to claim the Anglo-Celt that day, and today Lee Keegan, he's going to be the man to hand over Sam Maguire to Aidan Forker.
Wow, I'd say now, just look at those celebrations for Armagh and what it means, and if you want to capture a game in this last 4 or 5 minutes, I think that's summed it up. Do you know what? Armagh went after the second half, fully deserved their win. Listen, Galway will have regrets. I think their inaccuracies in the second half, we'll come back to them, but Armagh, like all year we wrote them off. They said they couldn't do it. Their style wasn't going to work. I think Rian O'Neill said it. Look at them now, they're champions. So well done to them. There's going to be some celebrations then in Armagh tonight.
And Rory Grugan talked about getting a bit of luck, and there was a bit of luck, Peter, but he mentioned the diving block. There's nothing lucky about that.
Well, look, you can say the Galway hit the post and all the rest, but there was no luck attached to that victory. I thought they were the better team. When they got the lead, maybe they didn't kick on, but talk about a well-organised defence. OK, you can say Galway had a few bad wides, a few balls went short, but the organisation, the setup in their defence, we said they've only conceded 1 goal in the past 6 games. Galway never looked like scoring a goal, and for every score that they had to get, that Galway had to get, they had to work really hard. So there was no luck involved. The better team won on the day. From a Galway point of view, very disappointed because up front they lacked composure when they needed it most, and their main man up front had an off day in front of goals. Not that he wasn't trying, but the Clifford last year, just a lot of shots didn't come off for him. But you have to congratulate Armagh. What an achievement to come from where they have, and for Kieran McGeeney to lead them to this title is fantastic.
And remembering Tomas that he faced this club vote only back in August?
I think every single thing Armagh have achieved is down to McGeeney. Every year he chase somebody else, get another member into the coaching squad, go back to the players, they love him. I'd say it was as much for him as for everybody else in Armagh that they fought. I think the goal, Aaron McKay's goal, was absolutely vital, very similar to the goal against Kerry, a player following through. That was the spark that gave him. They got huge scores. Galway had chances, they had opportunities. He's another fella that has had a huge career with Armagh and very, very deserving. It isn't very often you get the president of the GA who's going to present the cup also to his son. So it's an absolute... I actually, Joanne, nobody would have picked Armagh as All-Ireland winners at the start of the year. So for them to actually win it, I would place everything in McGeeney's barrow for what he's achieved with them.
There were many questions at the start of the day. There's a question now. Is Jarlath Burns going to be able to hold it together as he makes his speech ahead of handing over the winning trophy? Eamon and Dara.
Arch Jurhor, Tasha Jackara Credvile, Kajeta Jira Kanya Harla, Ebarkan Croke and you. Nor Aracum Saharther and Araga Orosha, Ata Osma Koramak, near Kredjmin or the Fermi and Potshaw, Kamehinek Bronu, Sam Maguire, Ergena Umakondehian. Treslium, listen da Erin Mariana and Tashpont, the Sinta Kahugship doing and you. Boylum Sabui has a goal Foster. The Sean Herschel and Rachor, our Tashbomb that's Rachor at the NU. And we also thank our sponsors, Super Value, AIB and Allianz, whose representatives are here today. Guramahagat, Colin, Noel and Jeff. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a parent who's put a set of GAA posts in your back garden, this belongs to you. If you're a coach from under 8 to senior, this belongs to you. If you're a member of a committee at any level that organises our games voluntarily, this belongs to you. If you're a linesman or an umpire at our club matches or our underage games in the cold winters and wind, this belongs to you. If you line the pitch or cut the grass or put out flags, today belongs to you. If you make the tea after the game, or if you're a teacher who gives up your time to help our pupils develop our games, this belongs to you. Today is your day, because the GAA is where we all belong. To Galway, The Armagh people know how you're feeling. We have felt that too often in the recent past, losing heartbreakingly on penalties in this stadium, in Clonus twice in a row, and on too many other occasions. We know you will be back, and you contributed this magnificent spectacle today. But today belongs to Armagh. Today belongs to a man who lifted the cup here in 2002 and stuck with this team for the last 10 years and is now manager Kieran McGeeney, Geezer. And I know that quite many of you today are thinking of loved ones and people who are not here and absent friends. I know that the people of Armagh will not mind if I single out the Grimley family and Niall Grimley in particular for the loss that they suffered. And now the formalities to a man from the Lochshore and Mahery who has struggled with this team for the last 13 seasons. What an example he is. There's his wife, there's his child. They made the same sacrifices he has. And now, it gives me great pleasure to present the Sam Maguire Cup to the captain of Armagh, Aidan Forker.
Well, what a day, what a story, and what a team. For only the second time, Armagh are All-Ireland Senior Football Champions.
Come and look your scale, Agasa, Honnedy, Kimmel, Kieran Shane, Broad Ormond, Cornshaw, Glocker, Southern Waha. It gives me great pleasure to accept this cup on behalf of the people of Armagh for the last, after 22 years. And you, Tom Mudge, Brundle, Gakuri, Aaron, Fiha, Kar. Today, we're not dreaming. We are 2024 All-Ireland champions. It is the greatest grace and blessing of my life to be accepting this Sam Maguire Cup on behalf of this group of men in front of me here on the steps of the Hogan today. This is our group and the management team, who we'll get to in a minute, and all the people behind it all who are helping drive this county forward on and off the field. You know who you are. But first, I want to pay a word of thanks to Galway. 2 already tough tests against you, boys. You're a top team, thanks very much. A special word of thanks to and gratitude to the officials. Thanks to the Sean and team. Now, to our management team. Perhaps at the risk of missing a Kieran, I'll give it a go. I want to thank Kieran McKeever. You've toiled for years hard. I wish you were out there beside me today, but the next best thing, thanks for everything, Horse. Kieran Donaghy. The big star man. Vicky's an adopted Armagh man now. Thanks, Kieran, for all your effort and your family and everything for what you've given to Armagh football. Thanks a million. Kieran McKinney. Work with the goalkeepers and Conlon Gilligan. just brought that extra wee bit of magic to us this year. Good man, Neats. To Dennis, Julie, Hugh, Paddy, Maura, Stephen, Shane, Declan, Formby, Punky, Clodagh, Patricia, Shannon and Ivan. We couldn't have done this without you, so thanks a million. Thank you to everyone who give and bring so much, all of yourselves, to our setup and make it what it is. Thank you to everything you've done for this group, this county. You've helped us all as individuals in our hardest days. And I hope you enjoy the good days here. You're all truly special people. I think I've missed out one, Kieran McGeady. Kieran, a man walked these steps once before and stood here as I'm grateful to do today. He continues to lead this county from the sidelines every single day of his life, challenging, supporting us in every way possible, and I mean every way. And this win today, I promise you, would not have happened if Geezer did not return 10 years ago. It's a long time coming, Geezer. Thanks a million to the sponsors, especially our main jersey sponsors, Patrick McCann, Simile Fruit, Ian Strain, Paddy McKeever, Barry from Boxit, and a special note to a man who wants no credit, but has supported us significantly over the last number of years. Thank you, Patrick. To these sponsors, the county board, a genuine thank you from everybody for supporting us in any big or small way. Being with us every step of this journey, who backed this county on every kick of the ball. Thank you for believing in this group and what we were trying to achieve. And I hope you're proud and happy people today. I've a lot to get through. It's been 22 years. It's a massive source of pride that I stand here to represent this phenomenal group of over 42 boys in their clubs. These boys, I know, wake up every morning to push this team and each other for days like today. I know there are great teammates who have stepped away in recent years, who toiled for years and never got this day. Behind them all as well are wives and girlfriends and partners and mothers and fathers and children and wider families who have also made these sacrifices to allow this to happen. So thank you to all the players and management's families for every ounce of support for these boys. We couldn't do it without you. And I know you're proud of them today, and I'm thinking in particular, as Jarlath alluded to, of many boys in this group who have lost loved ones along this journey. Boys, I promise you these people are here with us today as we live out our dreams. And finally, to our fans, the orange and white. The orange wheel that follows us everywhere through thick and thin. Good days and not so good, ups and downs. We've all lived them together over the last 10 or so years. Well, the wait is finally over for the best fans in the land. Before I finish, let today be a lesson to anyone, anywhere, who has a dream in life With faith and hard work and belief, anything is possible. Many of us are living our dreams here today. Never give up on what you're chasing. Up Armagh!
Well done, Aidan Forker. That was some speech, especially the end, Peter Canavan. Faith, hard work, belief, never give up. He's making the most of his dream.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. That's what stood out about that. But look, he's waited a long time on that too. He's covered all aspects of it. It's so proud for him and for his family to stay there. But that's a touching moment there. Kieran McGeeney, him and Pádraig Joyce are big mates, and they both know how important that victory was. But look, it's Armagh's day. What a remarkable year. The setbacks that they've had to endure and the manner of their defeats, the penalty shootouts was something else, but they've come through it, and there'll be a bit of celebrating done in Orchard County now, Joanne.
There'll be just a little. I think it might take them a while to get back up to the Orchard County, first of all. But if we go back to that point, Lee, about it took so long, years before they even got an Ulster Championship win. Now, they did do well through the back door under Kieran McGeeney in the early days. The turnover of players, and at the same time, the number of players who've stuck through it down through the years.
It's phenomenal. What they've got out of their group, what they've done over, like, we've been so probably critical that they haven't won an Ulster or a major trophy in his term, but now he's after winning the biggest prize. And even the way Aidan Forker's describing, even the way he talks about Geezer is just a testament to what he's actually brought to the group. And I can tell you one thing, they let the chatter on the outside, let it fester away to themselves. Inside that group there, I said there was never one bit of doubt where they were going to be. And today, when they really needed it and the big moments came, they stood up for him. And it's I think Tom said it, it's because of McGeeney they're able to do this, and that belief and that just everything about it, and it's just brilliant. It's magical scenes, and even still seeing their mass supporters there at the moment going, it just means so much to them.
And it was touched on by Aidan Forker there. It was touched on by Jack O'Connor actually in the semi-final. That orange wave of support and the difference it made. And you even heard in some of the interviews in the lead up to this weekend, the Armagh players referencing Jack O'Connor's words.
Yeah, I think there was a point made that maybe Galway had that experience of 2 years ago. We're not going to fall into tickets, the razzmatazz of a build-up. Armagh embraced it. You could hear it from McGeeney with Peter's interview. They just took it on board. They rode the wave, and it worked out for them. It was absolutely brilliant. That game was there for the taking. It was phenomenal. I thought the second half was as good as we've seen in terms of excitement because of the crowd that was there, actually. Like Grimley, they hadn't scored for ages. Grimley kicked a massive score. McDade and McHugh missed straight after it. Oisin O'Neill kicked a huge score. Darcy then and McDade kicked for Galway. It was phenomenal. But if you look back at it, Joanne, I think Galway will be disgusted, say what happened to Robert Finnerty earlier on. Then Damien Comer and Shane Walsh were the go-to men, brilliant players for Galway throughout. It just didn't happen, and you have to give Galway credit for actually snuffing out their full, two of those men, an injury to Robert Finnerty. Their full forward line was gone. They caught them on the counter-attack very often, but that defence from Armagh was the rock they built everything on. Their attacking game developed as the season went on, and that was what got them over the lines. Obviously, the bench was huge again today. That man was excellent when he came in, but it was the defence. And I'll go back to it. They would not have an All-Ireland without McGeeney.
There wasn't a goal chance even for Galway. Yeah, but the one moment that did come down to happened on the Armagh side, and that's what we would associate Galway all year.
A couple of points on McGeeney, and he'll be the first to say it, and you talked about their defence. Kieran McKeever was left to do a lot of the work with the defensive setup and strategy. Kieran Donaghy was doing the forward play, and you could see things that they were trying to work on. They were carrying out stuff that they were doing in training. Likewise, their transition, the movement of the ball. Conleth Gilligan was in to specialise on that. So those three men were very important. But this time last year, when the county board were left with a decision what to do, they didn't want to get rid of McGeeney because the players didn't want to get rid of Kieran McGeeney. They put it to the clubs, and he just about got to hang on because a lot of clubs thought otherwise. But that's the key to it, was what the players, every one of them. And why is their panel so strong? because of that. Even though they're not getting, they know it's a good setup, they know that they're heading in the right road, so their management setup absolutely takes a lot of the credit.
OK, we'll look into this more. We'll hear more from the All-Ireland champions. 46 clubs did vote in favour of Kieran McGeeney, we must point out, last August. 16 against. But won't they be breathing a sigh of relief? Armagh are All-Ireland champions.
AIB, proud sponsors of the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship.
The pedigree of Irish horse racing go head-to-head at Ireland's iconic Summer Racing Festival. Racing from Galway, Monday from 4:40 on RTE1 and RTE Player.
9 Irish athletes follow their dreams in an attempt to qualify for the Olympic and Paralympic Games.
Every single day I'm thinking about winning that Olympic gold medal.
Path to Paris, streaming now on RTE Player.
Hey.
Hey, I just wanted to ask.
Yes! Oh, hang on.
Look, if this is a bad time.
No, 2 seconds.
Vodafone Gigabit Fibre broadband with smart Wi-Fi included. Smart, reliable, and adapts to your needs.
I'm here.
Oh, no worries. Want to go for a walk?
A walk?
Now just €30 a month.
Oh, House of the Dragon. Deadly. Oh, there's Daemon now.
Who?
Daemon. Targaryen.
Who?
Well, he's her husband. And her uncle. Humans are animals. Oh, look, the golf's on.
Who?
McElroy. They must have added sports. Now is class like that. You can mix and match memberships, so you only pay for what you're into. This is for which one's better than an eagle?
An owl, obviously.
I didn't know you could talk.
Well, now you know.
Now you know a smarter way to stream all the top TV, movies and sports with no contract.
So what's flying like?
It's not as glamorous as it used to be.
Next Gen AI at Harvey Norman. A new era begins with Copilot Plus PCs powered by Snapdragon X Elite. Meet your personal AI, continuously learning and always tailored to you. Your AI data stays secure on your PC without compromising performance. Power through tasks with multi-day battery life. Boost productivity with time-saving tools, all powered by the brand new Snapdragon X Elite. Meet the new class of laptops built to change the way you work, create and play. Harvey Norman, where your next gen AI journey begins.
Nutty and sweet latte macchiato. This one's for the prize?
Intenso.
No, cool. Definitely iced. Sweet. Bye.
Nespresso. What else?
It happens. It's better to have roadside rescue as standard. Get 10% off car insurance when you buy online at aig.ie. It's got to be AIG.
Oh, shh. It's starting.
The enemy usurped my throne.
We're going to King's Landing.
War is coming, and neither of us may win.
Have you ever met a dragon?
Well, there's Margaret next door at number 15.
Now you know a smarter way to stream House of the Dragon with no contract.
Make more meals for less with Dunnes Stores, where you'll save in the aisle with ingredients for a fresh and vibrant cod tray bake. That's flaky cod fillets, baked with fresh vegetables, potatoes and herbs. All from the Dunnes Stores range. An easy, delicious dinner for any day of the week. Plus, you can save again at the till with a 5 off 25 grocery voucher. Dunnes Stores. Always better value.
eSport has teamed up with Harris Maxis, one of Ireland's longest-standing automotive distributors and retailers, to give you the chance to win a brand new Maxis MIFA 9 worth €80,000. It's the world's first full-size pure electric MPV, a car big enough for your whole team with a range of up to 520 kilometres on a single charge. Delivering comfort and style on a whole new level, with generous internal space and luxuries to keep everyone happy on the road, alongside intelligent driving and superior safety levels. You can check it out on psychmaxis.ie. For your chance to drive away in this stylish €80,000 car, answer this week's question. Which team won the GAA Hurling All-Ireland Senior Championship final last weekend? Was it Clare or Cork? To enter, call the number on screen or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57886. Maximum cost per entry is €2.50. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Tuesday, August 6th. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
The Olympics on straight after us here on RT2. Remember, Mona McSharry in semi-final action will be at the Winners' Hotel. Hopefully, today's man of the match will be revealed on the Sunday game at 9:30, and the Galway races begin tomorrow. Watch them on RT1 from 4:40. Let's hear from winning captain back in 2002 and winning manager today. Here's Kieran McGeady.
Kieran, All-Ireland winning captain, once upon a time All-Ireland winning manager. A lot of hard work gone in. What got you guys over the line, in your opinion, in a tense, tight game?
We knew it was going to be that. Like, we played them 5 times, 3 draws, like 1 point win, 1 point win. Like, it was not going to be anything else. Just coming to the end, I suppose you were going, Jesus, not another draw. But listen, big tackle by Ben Creeley on the far side. You know, wee things like that. The fine margins. Like I feel for Jicer. Like he's no different than me. It's a thin line, like sliding doors, as they say. Like he's put his life and soul into this the same way as I have, same way as those Galway players have. And it's funny, you're seen as one thing, you're 1 point ahead of it, you're seen another, but I suppose we'll take this one. I've been seen as a gobshite long enough. I suppose we'll take one day, like, you know. But listen, the fellas have been amazing. Like I couldn't say enough about them. Like it's sometimes when you come from a county that like you win, like that belief is in her, and when you keep getting knocked back, and people tell you can't do something, it takes a special bunch to keep coming back and looking for it. And today, I suppose all of that came to fruition. We had a lot of mistakes out there. We thought we could have pulled away, like, and you know, we didn't even, like, you know, at times we're not like playing at our best, but just you have to fucking hand it to them. Like they just never stop, they never quit. So delighted.
You know, over the last 10 years or so, did the lads keep you going as well at times? I mean, nobody denies your leadership and your mentality, but through the hard times, did those players keep you going? Not so much.
Yeah, like we have fellas there, like Farker and Grugan, Stephen Sheridan, who came straight out of playing into the backroom team. There's a number of players like who really, like Division 3, bottom of it, like, you know, stuck at it. Like a lot of fellas walked, didn't want to do the hard yards. They didn't. They stuck at it. And then like there was knockback after knockback, and then you have the likes of the Rain and Ross and Turbo and Barry and all them come in. Like it takes time in a small county. Like, and you know, in the modern world, people don't like time. It's a commodity that we say we don't have enough of, but I say like it makes it sweet. It makes it very, very sweet.
Just watching your team over the last 10 years, from every aspect of the season, you've always tried to do new things. You haven't always got credit for it. You've been called very conservative at times, but nearly every year you've brought in a new tactic, and even today trying to get Grimley in that advanced position. Is that just constant thinking from your management team, just constant innovation, constant adding to that the whole time also?
Yeah, listen, I've a great team around me, so I do, like with KD, Brookie, Conlett, Kieran McKinney, Dennis, like they really are top class. And then Julie, like with her strength and conditioning, she's brought them to a different level fitness-wise. And then obviously more in chain, like with the medical. But to me, like there's always a new, like Oisin Connolly come in this year, like, and he's been outstanding for us. Like, you know, if he doesn't get Young Player of the Year, he took it to a team in an All-Ireland final. Like, you know, like in just like 3
points,
you know, and like he was outstanding. But it takes everybody, like there's the whole sort of thing. It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a county to get you know, and there's been a lot of sort of knockbacks and, you know, negative things. But to me today, like the boys just, I said, digging deep. They stuck to the plan. Like we knew it was going to be hard to break down, you know, Galway. But even when like things were going away and things weren't working, they stuck to the plan. They made the calls, they made the setups, and they got them. Like,
Kieran, a final question for you. Just last winter, you know, that vote that took place, did that put your backs to the wall? Did that bring you back even tighter as a group together? Because the players really spoke up. They wanted this management team to stay on.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I suppose when you're around football long enough that you find out that it's the people who know very little make a lot of noise. You know, like headlines, like I see fellas, I don't see it so much, but you're sent it, like writing nonsense, like, you know, like manager telling fellas not to go forward with the ball, like not to, like, you know, score, and, you know, like, oh, if he keeps playing like this, he's going to lose by a point. And you'd be going, like, what planet do they live on? Like, you know, it's obvious they haven't even been involved. But it's not my job to knock or to bang back. Like, you just have to keep going. And as I sort of say, like in smaller counties, like for us, this buzz is the last 2 weeks. You're trying to avoid it, but it's brilliant for them. It's like, you know, for these fans, I think to me, like, you know, I was in the hotel this morning, bumped into a Galway man. He said, listen, best of luck. And I was thinking to myself, that's the GA. Like, there's nobody, 99% of the people in it are in it for the right reasons. And that's why it's such a special place.
You got over the line. Congratulations, Kieran.
Thanks very much.
He is one of the most fascinating people there is in sport. Peter, you know him well. You had that chat with him last week, which gave us so much. You can hear the full lot online, and also, they're the three boys as well, online, but also on podcast. He referenced it a few times over the last couple of weeks about people talking about how he had somehow told his team not to attack. It was all this about how Armagh not getting over the line because they kept losing in these penalty shootouts, even when they'd been in good positions. It clearly has bugged him.
Well, a couple of things on that. First of all, some people, some managers, criticism might hurt them. With McGuinness, criticism motivates him, and that's obvious. The second thing, Paddy Burns, his cornerback, did an interview at the start of the year, and he was asked that question about Armagh, are they not negative? Should they not be pushing forward? And he says, hold on a minute, we are given license to go forward. We are told by the management to go forward as often as we can whenever the gap is there. So he says, that's not a management thing. You only have to look at the last couple of games. Today, they're full back. Aaron McKay, goal. Cornerback, Barry McCambridge, point. Aidan Falkers, Tiernan Kelly, that's what, 1-4 from defenders. So some games pan out, it might look as if teams aren't going for it, but when you've set out 15 against 15 off, and there is a lot of lateral passing, and that happens. But as I said, when I heard that from Paddy Burns, that was proof that they were happy with the direction they were going.
Time for another quick break, and we look back hopefully on how Armagh did manage to get across the line today.
SuperValue believe in community, and community includes everyone.
It's a scorpion kick round the back. He takes the lead with seconds to go. Well, he's through to the medal round.
The scorpion kick is Jack's signature move.
Taekwondo fever is kicking off, ladies and gentlemen. The Grand Palais in Paris, electric as the man from Tallaght. Jack Woolley takes to the match.
Let's go, Jack.
Yeah, we'll be watching. And we are ready to go.
What brings us out for our county, year after year after year, that stirs such passion in our hearts and makes the pride flow through our veins? It's our county. It's our people. It's in our blood.
No me hables de ese amor. Ya me cerró la herida.
All they want is Sheba.
Enter the Virgin Media Playhouse for unbelievable value on super-fast, reliable broadband. Like 500 meg broadband for just €35 a month for 12 months. And no activation fee. Switch in-store or at virginmedia.ie. Virgin Media. It's playtime.
The Texas Bacon Lovers range at Burger King. Made with 100% flame-grilled beef, streaky bacon, barbecue sauce, cheddar cheese, and crispy onion rings. The Texas Bacon Lovers range, only at Burger King.
This isn't working for me. I feel like I'm getting nothing out of it.
Susan, I'm your insurance policy. What more do you want?
Someone to pick up the phone, someone to listen, and I want an out bonus.
An out bonus?
You want something back. 10% back. In cash.
No.
After 3 years claims free. Straight into my account.
With Outsurance, you always get something out. Call us today for a competitive car and home insurance quote.
Morning, Hannah. Did you see the presentation?
I think we need to explore some new options here, Jeff.
I think we need to explore some new options here, Teddy.
Lead the way. The all-new Skoda Superb.
Skoda.
We're in the land of the birds now.
Okay, nature boy. What's that bird then?
It's a male finch. They give seeds to females in a bonding ritual.
Colour like no other with Schwarzkopf Live.
Rebel in the comfort of a home. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
AIB, proud sponsors of the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship.
Well, a lot of happy people decked in orange out on the pitch in Croke Park. Lots of smiles all around, plenty covered in orange on their way home, happy tonight with Armagh, Sam Maguire champions for 2024. What a day it's going to be for everybody there. It's going to take them a long, long time to get home. I would imagine the key moments in the second half, there were quite a few, but you can't overlook the fact everybody said, what difference is Stephen Campbell going to make? It was so immediate. And then a defender who's on the end of it as well.
It was huge, Joanna. In a tight match, a goal was always going to be massive. Galway would have loved if that man made a mark. Here we see Aaron McKay at the edge on the 20-yard, not bursting, just sitting there. Dylan McHugh is minding him. Dylan McHugh gets caught ball watching. Two of the forwards are sucked to Soupy Campbell. Dylan McHugh is just watching out of the corner of his eye. Aaron McKay puts up his hand, asks for it, and bravely drives it home. It was the most important score of the game.
Did you
winning
think
by a
pass,
point.
Tomas?
Well, I didn't think. Soupy Campbell was going for a score, but you can see McKay putting up the hand to say, I'm gone through here alone. Dylan McHugh didn't track him. Dylan McHugh has been outstanding all year. He was just caught ball watching. Man slipped in right behind him, and it was the difference.
Soupy's only on a minute. So that's the game changer we're talking about at half-time, and that's the difference.
But it wasn't the only game changers. There were huge moments towards the end and the middle of that half.
Well, there was more happened in the last 10 minutes that happened the previous 60, you could say. Shane Walsh correctly takes a mark. I would say, 8 times out of 10 he kicks that over the bar. A player for his quality, that's not an easy kick because there is a breeze coming off Hill 16. But from an Armagh perspective, do they hold on to the ball here or do they try? They're a point up. Rian O'Neill, another sub that came on, vision, head up. Mark taking, whether he elected to play or not, Sean Hurson brilliantly had allowed advantage because otherwise we wouldn't have seen that fantastic point. But if the ball had broke out, interestingly, there was an Armagh man that was there waiting on it, which could have been a goal. But that there was obviously a big game changer in the closing seconds.
Something special about Niall Grimley being involved in that as well. He's already been referenced with all the tragedy in his life. Before we go, a quick word on your neighbours, Lee.
Yeah, listen, I wasn't lucky enough to win All-Ireland, so I suppose I know what Galway are going through. There'll be no words that can be said to them that'll make today easier. Like losing 2 All-Irelands the last 3 years is really tough. But the thing I would say is that they have a brilliant group there where there's going to be changes made in the off-season or not. But on paper, they didn't get the luck this year in terms of injuries, but for that group of players, there's still something within that group, I think, to move forward. So
you would imagine we're going to see both of these teams back very, very soon. It is Armagh's day and Armagh's year. Big thank you to Peter, to Tomas and to Lee for their time. And to all of the team from this season, many of whom will feature in tonight's Sunday game on RT1 at 9:30. So thanks to fine margins, faith, hard work and belief, tonight the Orchard will be in full bloom. Goodbye.